Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, a DC Comics podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, and I am joined, as always, by Matt.
Hey, what's up?
And Connor's here as well.
That was more positive than usual, I think.
I'd call it neutral. I'm in the
yeah, but usually it's pretty negative, so that was more positive.
Oh, exactly. I'm just saying I've been nudging towards neutral for a while now.
Yeah.
And
it definitely isn't inherently positive.
so I think I've hit that middle point. I think we're good, and it's all just building you back up so I can strike.
Oh yeah,
later.
Until I do something that pisses you off, and then down.
I'm trying to think in alignments. Is there a chaotic neutral? Because that's
yeah, there is.
Yeah, that's kind of what that statement was.
I think you're not good, you're not evil, but you like chaos. That's chaotic neutral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Whereas the Joker's chaotic evil.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Batman's lawful good.
Lawful good.
That's why they make such good.
What DC character's chaotic good? I guess Harley Quinn's kind of becoming that over time.
Yeah, Harley Quinn, Ivy kind of fits that role depending on who's writing it.
Yeah.
Jason Todd. I mean, I hate to say that, but
there's nothing about Jason Todd that's good. Shut up.
Well, his alignment is he's.
I wouldn't really say he's that chaotic either.
Well, chaotic just means out for yourself, like.
Yeah.
Booster, probably. I mean, to the people, but really he's lawful good because he's abiding the laws of time and space. So, but yeah.
Okay, not even 2 minutes in, and Matt is defending Booster Gold somehow. I don't know how we got into that.
That's what I do.
Here we are.
There's not even an issue of Action Comics this week.
There isn't. No, yeah. It's not even mentioned.
I got to squeeze it in there. I can't get rid of all the Connor talk before we talk about Connor, so I have to go to Booster.
So we talk about DC Comics, you might be surprised to find. And coming up on this week's show, we will be discussing Damage #1. That is the first of the New Age of DC Heroes books, spinning out of metal. Allegedly, I don't know how it spins out of metal yet, but we have the book, so it's there. We have the final of the Super Sons of Tomorrow crossover, and Super Sons #12. We have Batman 39, Superman 39, Justice League 37, Green Lanterns 39, Nightwing 37, Batwoman 11, Aquaman #32. And in a surprising move, Connor tried out the start of the new run on Trinity with Trinity 17. So that is what will be discussed this week once we get to the books. But we have a few things before we get to the books, as it happens. Get a couple of news items, and you know how I like to do the whole sales figures thing and make you guess on the rankings and stuff.
Yeah.
And we did already do that. We already did that for December. We had those numbers last week. However, given that it's January, we actually now have the full numbers. We have the top 1,000 of 2017.
Good Lord, that's a long list, and I have no doubt why you found it. You're just drawn to it like a moth to the flame.
He's not wrong. So what we're going to do is similar to before. We're going to look at the top 10, and I'm going to make you do a little bit of guessing.
Yeah, I'm not guessing a year's worth of comics.
Oh no, yeah. If we're doing the whole top 1,000, that'd be like a 10-part series that we'd be doing over like several months of you guessing all 1,000.
You would have watched me age in real time.
Probably, yeah. You'd go grey just try to think about it. But so can anyone? I mean, you may have seen what the top one was because it was been tweeted out all over the place. But can you guess what the top-selling comic book of 2017 was?
No,
I have two guesses.
You got two guesses. Go on.
Comic or DC comic?
Comic, just comic in general.
Crap, I have no guesses now.
This is the thing. There's too many comics in a year for me to... Like, when you give me a month, I can kind of think about it.
It's probably from one of the big two, right? But what other milestone was hit?
Everything in the top 10 is the big two. Really, nothing on here is remotely obscure or hard to think about.
Yeah. But then you think about Star Wars could have had a massive book from Marvel. I don't know if there was some kind of anniversary event for Marvel.
I'll tell you right now, there is 0 Star Wars in the top 10.
Okay, well then it's Marvel. Well then my guess is I'm gonna go metal since it's been out longer.
Alright, you go metal #1.
Yep.
Connor?
I told you. Too many comics to guess from, so fine, metal. I don't care.
The top-selling comic book of 2017, no doubt through to some shady shenanigans and lots of variants, was Marvel Legacy #1.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm calling shenanigans on that.
Well, it was also like an $8 book. It was...
$6.
Really? My shop had it.
I thought it was more than that as well.
Yeah, my shop had it for 8, but that might have been a variant.
Yeah, they had a bunch of variants. They had all those
Yeah.
lenticulars that didn't work. They had lots of things going on. But yeah, and a lot of those variants you had to order so many copies. So I think they kind of, as Marvel have done in the past, I think they've inflated their numbers a little bit there. Because keep in mind, this is ordered by comics retailers. This is not sold through to public. These numbers,
Right?
and one can't help but wonder how many copies are lying around that might be on the free
one
comic
has
book
to
day
remember that
bins.
The Marvel ones are non-returnable.
Yeah. The DC one still returnable, or was that just a thing at the start of Rebirth?
That was at the start. I mean,
Yeah.
although my shop doesn't order as much as they used to, but there's certainly a lot more leftover Marvel books than there are at DC. Because sometimes I'll miss one and not realize it, and I'll have to go back, and there's always a stack of something. So
somehow that scraped its way to 305,000 copies
oh my
ordered.
god, man! During the '90s, that would have gotten canceled. That's so crazy to think.
Truth to that. Alright, what do you think the top selling DC book was then? Which is number 2, I'll tell you that much.
I'm gonna keep it up and go metal and I'm gonna change the Doomsday Clock. Let's let it run.
Hold your ground, Connor?
Why not?
Should you say metal?
Sure.
Put up enthusiasm. Should try to draw...
Too many comics for a year.
I'm even pretending to have enthusiasm, Connor. It's not that hard.
Yeah,
No,
Matt's done a
there's a
good
lot of
job.
books.
Matt's done a good job. I'm proud of Matt right now. Metal is number 2. Metal number 1 sold 278,000 copies. Big. Then we had number 3 was Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man number 1 at 233,000.
I think that was in a loot box or something.
It probably was. It feels like they've beefed those up. As does number 4 and 5, which is issue 0 and number 1 of Secret Empire, which I know they were shoving down everyone's throats at the time.
Yeah.
Then you had Metal numbers 2 and 3. Actually, 3 and 2. 3 was not higher than 2 was. That's at number 6. Then 7 at Dark Knight's Metal number 2. Doomsday Clock number 2 at number 8. Interestingly.
It's because one was split, remember, with the lenticular.
That's true, yeah, one was split. That first comes in at number 14, interestingly enough.
If you can find the two of them and add the totals together, you can kind of see where it would have slotted in.
And then the second one was number 17, so they weren't far apart.
What were the sales on them?
So you had 134 and 126.
Then.
That'd have been number 3 then if had you added those together. So that'd have been just after Metal, number 1. So that makes a lot of sense. So what did I say? Doomsday Clock number 2 was number 8. Then Metal number 4 was number 9. So a lot of Metal on this. And then Phoenix Resurrection, Return of Jean Grey number 1 was number 10.
Oh, that's good.
So
I like that. That's there.
Yeah, so that was actually, if my math is correct, and I'm just double checking it is, that is an even 5-5 split for DC and Marvel in the top 10. Even though I do think some of the Marvel entries are a little bit in the inflated side. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, DC's not, they used to do that stuff with the September events,
Yeah, they did.
So,
Oh yeah, it's not they've never been guilty of it. It's just this year it feels less so.
I can't wait for the time where Marvel can crawl their way back up, and we can have two good, two of the majors back good again, like it was when I started reading comics in the early 2000s.
Competition is healthy.
It is. Yeah. So hopefully Marvel step their game up this year. We shall see how that goes.
I mean, one could argue that's the reason Marvel got so shitty and complacent, is that they didn't really need to do anything with DC shooting themselves in the foot with the new 52 stuff.
No, there's some truth to that, I think. And then, so hopefully when they change creative teams around and we get... Because they announced this week that Slott's taking on Iron Man. Obviously we have rumours of Aaron taking on Avengers and things. So hopefully once all that happens, maybe we get a batch of books that are maybe... rising to the top of the crop, if you will. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. Still digging all new Wolverine. Issue was this week. It was good.
There you go.
Read the second part of that Avengers.
I haven't read any more since last week.
I read the second part of that Avengers No Surrender 16 issue weekly thing. I like parts of it, but a lot of it just left me kind of feeling, whatever.
Not another Who moment.
Nah, I liked how they dealt with that. They did some fun. I'll just say Dawn from the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'll just reference that, and you might get what I mean. But
Yeah.
The rest of it was just lots and lots of villains that I... The funny thing is, I know I've encountered some of them from Infinity, because they specifically mentioned they were around for that, but I didn't remember them, and I don't know who the other villains are, so there was lots and lots of villains fighting, and I'm like, I have no idea who any of these people are. This is just... I don't care. But, I don't know.
That sounds like you were really positive on that book.
I'll see if I muster up the energy to bother reading the third one next week. We'll see. I don't know.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, we'll see. So, with that said, so we have actual news, bit of movie news and a bit of actual comics news. What do you want first, comics or movies?
Movies.
Movies, all right. So, grain of salt time here. Bit of rumor mill and things have been changing so much with DC movies on a constant basis over the last couple of years that this all might be completely true, but it doesn't change the fact that it might all change in about 2 weeks' time. So apparently the inside buzz right now is that the next sort of slate of DC movies has altered a little bit. So up until just now, we were under the impression that the next 8 to be released were the following movies: Batgirl, Green Lantern Corps, Justice League Dark. This is a really bad list. Let's separate them. Those were the ones that have changed. Those were the ones that were in the slate.
Yeah.
And have now changed, right? Obviously, we have a bunch of stuff we're expecting. We've got Shazam, we got Aquaman, we got Wonder Woman 2.
Yeah.
All those usual ones we've been expecting. We got the Batman.
Yeah.
So those now apparently are not necessarily in the slate. Although obviously we know Whedon's working on Batgirl, so that's kind of in a weird place then. Whereas the other 2 that have been removed had next to nothing going for them.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, Justice League Dark especially has been in limbo for about 4 years.
Yeah, Del Toro kind of left it, and then it's just been kind of hovering. And it's a shame about Green Lantern Corps because we could use a good Green Lantern movie.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. The interesting part though is what's kind of been added onto the list. And that is, of course, Man of Steel 2 and Nightwing are now in this shortlist of what they expect to do in the next batch. I mean, it would still be, 2021, I imagine, at the earliest, before you see either of those 2. Just given what's already kind of in the works and what's moving along.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It could mean next to nothing.
Also, there was a bunch of new stuff about Affleck leaving as Batman again. Like that's all come back up again.
It seems like it's a done deal. Apparently, the scuttlebutt is that he is signed on for Flashpoint, but that'll be his send off. That'll be the last time we see him in Flashpoint.
I'm not sad. That's fine.
See, to be honest though, if they play this smart, whoever the new actor is, have them be there at the end when Flash alters the timeline.
Yeah, just pretend nothing's happened.
Yeah, just do it that way. Just do it. If it's going to be Jake Gyllenhaal, which is the one that everyone's apparently saying, that's the buzz, is that Jake Gyllenhaal's the one taking over. You know what? Do it. Have Jake Gyllenhaal be there at the end in the bat suit. Why not?
That dude's been trying to get into superhero movies since the beginning, so good for him. And this is the one when he finally gets in there. Try to take over for Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man.
And interestingly, I do think he's... maybe not now because he's a bit older, but I feel like 10 years ago, he'd have been my Dick Grayson pick.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can see that.
Over Batman. But hey, I'm not going to... Or Joker even. Nightcrawler convinced me that dude can pull off Joker. Should he...
Yeah, he's probably my favorite underrated actor because he goes and does those things. Like Nightcrawler.
He's very versatile, isn't it? Because he did Nightcrawler and then jumped straight... Because he was like proper skinny for Nightcrawler and then jumped straight to that boxing movie. Which I can't remember what that was called.
Yeah,
Southpaw.
That's the one.
Yeah,
I never saw it.
I didn't see it because the whole trailer gave away the entire movie. It
looked like a boxing movie.
Well, that's the type of boxing movies though, is that a lot of them are just the exact same plot. So
and that's fine. But when there's a twist that involves the wife, don't put that in the trailer.
Yep. I concur with that sentiment. But I do like the Gyllenhaal. Well, I like both Gyllenhaals actually. I like Maggie as well.
And it's not fair that his sister gets to be the only Gyllenhaal in a Batman movie.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, she was in a Batman movie.
There's a family legacy going on here.
Yeah.
I just want to hear him yell Rachel now.
Next time they're at a family dinner, right? I don't know how often the Gyllenhaals get together with the parents or whatever, but I just see them and he plays Batman now, and he's like, hey, so you were like this DA in a Batman movie? Yeah, I'm Batman. Just like, licking the fork as he...
One-upping each other.
Yeah. It's just like, well, fine. I'll go be something else.
That's fine, but let me know when you get Oscar nominated. Like,
That's kind of crazy he hasn't.
Has he not been nominated yet? That's insane.
No.
Man.
That was the big upset that year for Nightcrawlers. He didn't get any nominations, which is insane.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
Yeah. And then for Stronger this year, I still have to see it, but from all accounts, his performance is what that movie.
Yeah, I've not watched it, but it looks like it's Oscar bait, and then it's not really getting any buzz from any of the other ones that are leading up to it.
I have a list of about a dozen movies I want to get to before we hit the Oscars and we hit our awards, because we're doing a movie awards thing around the same time as the Oscars that we're all going to pick our winners and whatnot. But I have like a good dozen movies to get to before then, and that is just not even. I didn't even think about putting that on my short list to.
Well, no, I just don't
to get to.
The only reason I know anything about it is I listened to a sports podcast, and he kind of crossed over to pop culture, and he had Gyllenhaal on back in late November to talk about the movie. Like, I wasn't even aware it was a movie until I had listened to that.
It's on my list but it's at like 2025 of things to watch.
Which means you're probably not
happening.
Yeah. Unless it happens to just be there someday and I've got nothing else to do, you might put it on.
That's pretty much the situation, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. There was also a thing actually this week, again, this is a preview of the movie news this week, which will be going up tomorrow night sometime. But we have, or actually not, early tomorrow, now that I think about it, but the Harley Quinn situation where Margot Robbie's got like 3 movies in the works, and they're basically debating which one to do, whether one Suicide Squad 2, which is also rumored to be the introduction of Black Adam, right? Mm-hmm. And then one's Birds of Prey, because apparently, as this was a quote from the article, which I'll actually have in front of me tomorrow when I'm doing the movie news, but it was something to do with, ever since Suicide Squad, apparently Margot Robbie's become quite a DC fan, and she really likes Birds of Prey, so she wants Harley to be in a Birds of Prey movie.
You know what?
I can see it with some versions of Harley, though.
Yeah.
I like that about her, though. I like that she threw herself in. Oh
yeah, I like that part of it. If she's actually really become a DC fan and she's really into these ideas, then great, yeah, go for it.
That's awesome.
I think if you have the regular Birds of Prey and she's like an anti-hero, but by the end of the movie she's kind of an ally, that's how you play that. I think
I can see it, because you can kind of do that twisted version of Harley where she kind of wants to help, thinking that she's doing the right thing, but obviously just gets in the way. And
you have Batgirl and you have Black Canary and Huntress all being kind of like. Yeah,
what's she doing here?
She's a bit kooky. Do we trust her? Yeah, you could play that up. That's why you maybe make Ivy the villain, actually, and like her connection with Ivy's what sort of convinces him to bring her along so she can help and talk her down.
Kind of like a Silence of the Lambs thing. She's like a consultant.
Yeah,
yeah, Harley Quinn, the consultant. Yeah. And then the third one, which is the one that absolutely none of us want, is Joker versus Harley, which would bring back Leto as Joker, and it'd be them facing off again. No, I don't want it. Go away.
Yeah, no tar.
I don't even want that in an animated movie that I'm not going to watch, let alone a live action.
I never want to see Jared Leto as a Joker again. I don't know how that happens, but just make it happen.
I don't even want to see that version of Harley again. Like, if they do Harley, just get rid of the tattoos and the pale. I
don't think the Harley's that bad, though, inherently.
No, but...
No, the Harley looks fine. I don't have a problem with how Harley looks.
No, I hated her characterization in there. Like, they really played up the darkness in that relationship.
The relationship stuff itself was iffy.
Yeah, but the generalization of her character, I thought, was mostly similar to what we were
the way she talked and interacted with people was mostly working.
Right.
Yeah.
For the most part.
It was a scene where he tried to use her as property. Like,
the relationship stuff was some of the worst stuff in that movie, and that was a mess of a movie. So that's really saying something.
I'd like to have a more Harleen Quinzel-esque version where she's a little bit more in control.
That's fair. This does remind me. I did check out the new issue of Harley Quinn this week, just really briefly. It's kind of the same. It's tonally nothing. There's no major shift. Okay, so if you're enjoying it, you probably still will. If you weren't, you can probably stay.
I'm glad there's a place for that in DC Comics, though. Like, it has its fans, and it's not going anywhere. It's clearly it sells enough, but I'm glad that it's not bleeding over into the rest of our books. So
no, it's fine. Like, there's no problem with it existing, and that's it. It's good at what it is.
Just actually say it's out of continuity. Just say it's on its own little thing, because it's just weird that it. Like Harley's in this, and then she's in Suicide Squad, and she's completely different.
I feel like that's the way with most of the Amanda Connor stuff, because she's doing that book, right?
Sure, she was.
Not anymore. She was.
Same, okay.
That's why.
So it set the tone.
That's why I read it specifically, because it's a new run.
Yeah, Frank Thierry took over, and it's solid. But it feels pretty much the same.
But yeah, but her, because I'm reading her Starfire right now, and they brought in Tara from their run with Power Girl.
Yeah.
And it all feels like it's its own little corner, and nothing really impacts anything else.
Yeah, but you did have Nightwing show up in that, and that stuff felt like it was related.
I haven't made it that far, Connor.
Well, that was pretty early. I mean, it was only 12 issues.
Yeah. I'm probably on issue 4, all right?
He's on the cover of one of the issues. It's not a spoiler. It's fine. I mean,
I have the trades, right?
Well,
there's no covers.
Sure you. It's hard to spoil that run. There's not really much plot.
No, but they're on Key West, and it's awesome. So, and Pete has no idea what we're talking about because he doesn't know Starfire as a character.
Oh, shut up. Shut up.
I'm just going to keep revising this until we get to the point where you just are like, what's a Starfire?
I'll keep going until I say something else stupid, and then that'll replace the Starfire.
Or you can just add on.
This is not going anywhere. I still... Because it was from a place of complete sincerity. You didn't recognize her, and that's why it's great. You know?
You know, Matt, every time I think I'm about to let some jokes go with you, you find a reason to make me want to cling on to them just that little bit longer.
That's okay. Doesn't bother me as much as this bothers you, I can tell.
Yeah, at least Matt recognizes all the characters.
Hey, no, I don't recognise all the characters. This guy with a black t-shirt and a red S keeps popping up in conversation, and I don't know who that is.
That's the different... Oh, man, this guy. Him and his fallacy, living in kayfabe. I'm going to borrow a term from wrestling there. You know, this is 100% shoot that you didn't recognize Starfire.
I have no idea what you
It was a work. It was a work.
It was not a work.
It was a work.
No.
It's starting wrestling terminology for the next hour just to confuse Connor.
Whoosh.
That's fine. It's blood. I go to so much local wrestling, and I've befriended so many of the wrestlers. It's working its way into my vocabulary, and my wife hates it. So everything's a gimmick, and she's like, it's not a gimmick. It's fine.
On the subject, though, I have caught up a little bit in wrestling over the past week, and I will just say there's a Japanese pirate wrestler, Kiri Sane, who might be one of your favourite. I love her. She's great.
Yeah.
She comes out. She's out with the big pirate wheel, the ship wheel, and she's got like a little telescope. It's great. It's fantastic.
Look up her Japanese stuff. She used to swing it on a rope too.
They need to do that at one of the big events. Oh, what a rope swing!
Yep. Well, they did it for Paul Burchill. I'm sure they can figure it out for Kyrie. But
there's a pirate. I don't even like pirates that much, but the idea of a pirate wrestler is fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's fun.
Let's talk about books. Actually, that was good news. We get. Let's not bury the lead here. We have the biggest news. This is bigger than Bendis. This is bigger than Rebirth.
I love how we're like 25 odd minutes in, and let's not bury the lead.
It's fine. I mean,
that was the joke, Connor. That was the joke.
I just want to make it clear just how long we went until that.
Look, big news this week. The trunks are back. The red trunks. Superman's got the red back. Round the crotch is a thing. It's happening. Action Comics 1000's bringing them back.
As the representative Superman fan here, my initial thought was, okay, we're doing this again. Like,
my question is it permanent though, or is it just for the one special issue?
See,
and it's going to be in the.
This is the thing. At first, when I first read it and I just first saw the news, I went, "Oh, that'll just be like, oh, it's a fun thing they're doing for one issue, whatever, big, cool, right?" But I've seen so many artists from DC be like, finally, and posting images of them drawing Superman in the trunks, and they all seem so happy he's back that I'm like, this feels like it's permanent now. The way they're all talking about it and reacting to it, and this is like artists who are working at DC right now, and writers who are working at DC tweeting about it. That I feel like,
I really don't know.
It's iconic. I'm trying to think for Batman because he's been through so many suit iterations.
He used to have
think of what that is.
Yeah, he used to have the black trunks, and I think with Batman it's less noticeable they were missing. when they took them away. It wasn't a big deal.
It's because it's still, I mean, we're still on grey and black in general anyway.
It's dark.
I'm trying to think. Is it the yellow oval around the bat? Is that what his red trunks are?
Nah, because he's went back and forth between them all throughout his career, and I personally prefer it without the yellow oval. So. Yeah,
so do I. But I mean,
I prefer it with, but I'm not too fussed about it. It's not like, I'm going to fight for
it. It's actually, this is what I said about the red trunks this week. I mean, I prefer the red trunks, but I don't feel that strong. The Rebirth outfit for the last year or so has been great. Like, I've not had no problems with it. My bigger problem with the new 52 outfit was that stupid collar, the V-neck thing. Yeah. I hated that one.
And so many lines.
Well, and them calling it Kryptonian armor, because Jim Lee just wanted to add lines. It's like...
Yeah, I think that's my biggest thing. People are going, but the trunks don't make sense in 2018. I'm like, who gives a shit? It's a costume.
It didn't make sense in 1960, but they were still there. Like, at that point, the character was 30 years old.
It's a ceremonial thing. It's a Kryptonian, if I say that right.
It's a design choice. That's it.
Well, exactly. Do you guys know the actual origin of the trunks?
He likes some bread.
Well, no.
Well, I mean, why they chose them?
Why Siegel and Schuster?
Because it was based on like strong men from the circus at the time.
And that's how they. Yeah. And that's how they were. So, if that's what you're gonna do, cool. I'm sure in storyline you could work out something in Smallville.
Here's the thing, though, right? People, I've seen some people who are completely anti-trunks say that, we only kept them so long because of nostalgia. And nostalgia is like ruining things. And I'm like, well, here's the thing, though. If there's one character who should stick to his ideals and by extension his costume more than any other character, it's Superman. Because the entire point of Superman is that he does not. He sticks being the Boy Scout. We don't change that because that's who Superman is. That even in the face of everything else that happens, he remains pure. That's Superman.
You could say that about Captain America and the wings on his, cowl.
I look stupid.
Or whatever. Yeah, but they're only there because of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's a fine argument. But they don't partially define who Captain America is. Like Superman's costume.
Captain America, as long as he's got the shield.
Yeah, that's it.
And Superman at his core, as long as he's got the S, you're kind of in the ballpark.
I feel like with Superman, the colours are a big thing. Captain America, my favourite Captain America outfit is actually the one from Winter Soldier, which was took away the red. It was just the star with the 2 lines, and that's all it was. But it looked really slick. I liked that one.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you want to argue nostalgia, that's to me that's not a good argument for Superman because, like Pete was saying, it represents who he is as a character, and it's. I mean, I'm of the mindset. Yeah, it looks better with the trunks, but. I wasn't missing him exactly.
Yeah, like I'm fighting strongly against people who are diehard against them. I'm actually not fighting strongly for the trunks. I actually don't mind them not being there. Like I'm actually kind of cool with it either way. But I think it's cool they're back. I feel it's a nice thing to do in the 1000th issue. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Bring that back. Why not?
It's been since 2011.
Yeah.
That they've been gone. So
I didn't expect it, so it's a nice surprise. So I got that. Just on 1000, they also just sort of like give some early info about it. Just in terms of price, how big it is, that kind of thing. It's going to be an 80-page book without ads. There's no ads in it. It's $8, $7.99, which is actually relatively fine value for the It's
$1 per 10 pages. That's pretty great
for the size, especially with no ads.
With no ads, yeah.
So that's all fine. And they mentioned. So here we go. So there's going to be variant covers. There's going to be 8 variant covers, one representing each decade for the first batch of well, it's not actually 8 variants, admittedly, I don't think, but it's basically the 30s through to the 2000s. Each one's got a variant. Steve Ridge doing the 30s one, Michael Cho's doing the 40s, David Gibbons is doing the 50s, Michael Allred's doing the 60s, Jim Steranko's doing the 70s, Joshua Middleton is doing the 80s, Dan Jurgens doing the 90s. That one makes so much sense. And Lee Bermejo is doing the 2000s. So
which one am I going to want to get? There's some decisions to be made there.
I feel like I need to, because just based on the artists, I'm going, okay, 2000s, that sounds good.
Yeah, I think once you see them all.
But it depends on the actual designs.
The Allred 60s one could be really cool too.
Yeah, that's true.
He's Steranko 70.
He does a lot of the Silver Age and Golden Age covers for the omnibuses and stuff.
So he's practiced for that.
So if you go to my Twitter, I changed my cover pick. Or not Twitter, Facebook. I changed one of them. I can't remember. I haven't had cold. But it's a Doc Shaner classic, like
that
Golden
was
Age.
your Facebook. I saw that.
Okay, there we go. But it's got Mxyzptlk and Batmite with Batman and Superman, and they look the Golden Age. And one of our friends even asked if that was from one of the Omnibuy. So that's I feel like they're missing out on Shaner doing a variant, but
he's working on Terrific soon. He's going to see plenty of Shaner.
I know, but still.
Yeah, and they're also doing a blank variant as well, for your commissions and sketches and whatnot. So, so that's cool.
If it wasn't $8, I'd buy one of those, and next time I was at a con.
Oh, I'm getting one anyway.
Someone do something. Yeah, well, I have a budget. I can't.
So do I. But
an action.
Well, this is the thing. I have the budget as well, but then you kind of make the exception because okay, this is 1,000.
Yeah. One extra copy of this. Ain't going to completely break the world.
But it's $8. We're not talking this is an extra $3.
Oh, sure. You know what, Matt? Just don't go to Taco Bell, a few times that week. Just to
You're
make up for
asking
it.
me to move the moon, Pete.
Okay, fine. Right but when you go... Okay, still go, but get the cheaper meal, maybe. Get a little bit less each time. And that'll make up the extra $8 to get the blank variant for future con purposes.
I was thinking about this, some of my podcasts are starting to do more Patreon. And they're asking for a minimum $5 or the maximum $5. And I was like, man, trying to do a bunch of these, it's going to add up to like $15 extra a month. And then I go drop $15 on Taco Bell a week, and I'm like, yeah, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to support Patreon because of Taco Bell. It's crazy.
I'm not really sure what the point of that was. I think all I heard was I transferred economy into Taco Bell meals, and that's how I judge expenses.
Yeah, but basically it says, I could buy... I could support people on Patreon, but instead I buy Taco Bell. That's exactly. I think what he said.
Yeah. Given that we want people to support us on Patreon, that's a really odd message to be sending out, Matt.
I'm saying I'm probably going to stop going to Taco Bell so much.
Okay.
So I can support these people. That's all. I love Baja Blast. If you've never had it, guys, it's probably the greatest soda ever.
Okay, so just to give you some more details about Action 1000, the two current Superman teams are going to be doing stories, the main stories, which are both going to be 15 pages. So this is accounting for 30 pages out of the 80. Right. So there's 50 left for all the other things that are happening in it.
Plus the Bendis backup.
Well, there's a lot. I've got a lot of teams for the backups. I'll tell you them in a second.
Yeah.
But the main teams, of course, we're going to have Tomasi and Gleason do a 15-page story, and we're going to have Dan Jurgens draw and write his own story for Action 1000. So that's a thing. So in terms of the backups, now we already have Bendis rumoured, although that's not 100% confirmed, but they're saying there's going to be more announced later, so it's still completely in the realm of, they're going to maybe announce that on its own, because it's a big deal that Bendis is doing one. Yeah. But the teams have announced doing backups so far are Richard Donner with Jeff Johns and Oliver Coipel, Paul Dini, Paul Dini with Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, also big. Tom King with Clayman and Jordi Belair. Big.
I like that Jordi Belair is probably like one of the only colorists big enough to get a credit on that list.
Brad Meltzer with John Cassidy and Laura Martin.
I'm going to have to buy two of these.
And then we have Louise Simonson with Jerry Ordway. Then we have Scott Snyder with Tim Sale. And then the last one they've got listed here is Marv Wolfman, who is doing a story based on an unpublished art, by the late Kurt Swan. So that is a hell of a list of names.
There's so much. That first one, Johns and Donner with Coipel.
Yep.
That's right there is worth the $8.
So,
I'm interested to see Sale with Snyder. I think that's going to be a really interesting pairing.
That'll be interesting. And obviously, the only real Superman we have from Snyder so far was Unchained, which I gave up after a couple issues. So I'm curious to see what he does with.
I liked
the
idea of Unchained, but the execution wasn't there.
I mean, I think because obviously we're splitting 50 pages amongst all these, plus probably a few more, probably the Bendis one, and then that unpublished old story that we're rumored to have.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing 5 to 10 pages max each for these. Mm-hmm. I'm curious.
Yeah, that's 7 teams already that we just listed. So
amongst 50 plus at least 1 or 2 more, I imagine. So let's call it 10. So yeah, we're talking 5 pages per story on average.
Look up Coipel and see if he's done any.
I guarantee at least one will just be a single page.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Meltzer came back and did a Detective Comics story for Detective 27, where it was just basically a retelling of the first issue, which was pretty cool. So I'm wondering if that's what he's going to do here as a retelling of Action 1.
But when we get to Detective 1000, he can't do that same thing again. He's got to come up with something else.
No. Yeah.
The gimmick's
well, I
gone.
mean, to be fair, though, it made sense for Detective 27 because that's such an iconic...
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know?
That's it.
Detective 1000, is that going to be next year or the year after?
Next year.
The year.
It'll be a year. Just over a year,
double.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think as Action's hitting 1000, Detective's hitting what Action was at when we started Rebirth. Or just after we started Rebirth, so it should just be over a year.
Cool.
But there you go, so that's some exciting stuff for Action 1000. So that comes out on week 3, 18th of April, in April. So it's only one issue that month, but...
No shit, 18th of April in April.
Shut up, look, I forgot I said April, alright? Give me a piece, you little cretin.
Oh, man. Hey, guys, you want to know what the only thing Oliver Coipel's worked on at DC up till now?
What?
Legion of Superheroes. Guess who Jeff Johns loves?
Yeah, no. I can see it.
Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah. So we'll see. Now there was a cut there because there's a cut typically every half hour because it's just our recording software kind of freaks out a little bit if we go too long. So we always have a little cut, and it gives us a chance to go get a drink, go to the bathroom, just have a little breaks out. Nothing huge, or if it's whatever. Right. However, sometimes there'll be a little bit of conversation between the cuts just if we're discussing something. And we've discovered something kind of magical in the in-between cut time there. So, what we've discovered is that Action Comics 1000 actually hits the same week that we hit episode 100 of this show. Which is insane. We could not have planned for that.
So remember they pushed back Action.
I know.
1000.
Yeah.
That makes it even more
amazing.
amazing.
I feel they know that we have DC Comics podcast. They did this for us.
Oh,
guys.
sure, yeah. Well, what the magical thing as well is that it also means the reason why they pushed it back also means that our episode 100 falls on the 80th anniversary of Action Comics #1 of Superman. It's that week.
Perfect.
How could we have even planned for that? So we also made a little decision. We're actually that week. We're going to obviously have our big episode 100 blowout, and we're going to do something extra for 100, which would make that episode really goddamn long, probably. So, to account for that, what we're actually going to do that week is that Action Comics 1000 will get its own episode midweek, which is not numbered. It'll be like a special thing in between.
Yeah, we can't throw off the numbering and screw up 100.
Oh, obviously, of course not. But so that'll be its own thing, which we'll actually try and get to earlier in the week. We'll do that on its own, maybe like a day or two after Wednesday, something in there, and then we'll have our regular episode, which will have the regular books plus our episode 100 kind of special stuff at the end, which we're still deciding. I won't announce that yet, but so that's the plans for week 3 of April when this all goes down, unless Connor's math is off and this is all wrong.
I just double checked. Why did no one else check?
All right, fine. I'll check live on air. Right, I'm going to count it up. This is episode 87.
It's possible that it was wrong.
Right, it's 88, and then 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. Holy shit! No, it is episode 100.
It is right.
It's the same week as Action Comics 1000, which is also the 80th anniversary of Action Comics and the birth of Superman.
We've nailed it, guys. We can stop there. We're never topping that.
Either Brainiac's at play or Mixie Piddle's at play. Either way,
I know.
Shenanigans are afoot.
Do you know what? I almost want them to put Detective to single shipping so that episode 1000 of that falls on our 200th episode.
Oh, no. But what if we can hit it for 150?
That's possible. It would be around there.
It'd be around that point, yeah. What if?
Oh, that's insane. I can't believe we just figured that out. So, yeah, look forward to April. Honestly, I cut that part thinking, okay, when I come back in, it'll be, okay, here's the first book we're going to talk about. And then we went down that rabbit hole. So, without further ado, let's get into this week's books. And we're actually starting with a new book, the first of the new age of DC heroes. I debated whether or not to put this at the top, but I thought, no, this is still mainline, and I'll do this for all of them. We'll make them all feel special and give them all the headlining moment. That said, if it falls in the same week as a Doomsday Clock, it'll be the second book, because Doomsday Clock.
Doomsday Clock takes precedence.
But, so yeah, we're going to talk about Damage #1, which is written by Robert Venditti and art by Tony S. Daniel. This is the first of this line that's coming, which is fairly spread out. We're getting one in week 5, and there's a couple in next month, but they're kind of 2 a month, give or take, for the next little while, in terms of starting. So this is basically DC's answer to Hulk. The only difference being is that when the guy hulks out, there's like an hour time limit, and then he comes back to normal. It's not just he calms down eventually, kind of thing. It's not anger.
It's kind of Hourman-esque in there. Like, so I'm wondering if that's going to come into
I remember
play.
saying that when they announced it.
Yeah, Hourman meets Hulk is kind of the premise.
So I went into this going, that'd be cool because DC does never really had a Hulk, and then I read this and it was kind of like, yeah, DC
doesn't really need a Hulk.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't need a Hulk. I will happily concede to that. Yeah, my opinion on this first issue is kind of like, remember before, like 2 weeks ago or whatever, when we got the previews, I said, "Oh, the art's really good in that. I'm actually kind of looking forward to checking that out." And I did really like the art. I thought the action looked really good throughout. I like that stuff.
The story was rough.
No.
Well, I wouldn't say it's rough.
It's non-existent.
Yeah, that's what I would say. It's just kind of not there yet.
By rough, I'm talking about like some of the dialogue between Damage and the other soldier who I can't remember because he's just like Captain Exposition.
He's the one who he's the one who wants to be Damage. He's pissed that he wasn't picked for the procedure. Yeah.
And then on top of that, you've got Ethan, which is the guy who's turned into Damage, as a separate entity, still talking to Damage.
Which I don't necessarily hate that idea, because that is different from Hulk. That would make it kind of unique, as if he's still in there, kind of like Firestorm, where he's still in there talking to him. Kind of thing. Like there's potential there. I think the choice was made here though to no. You have to show them it's all the action, the big action, the city destroying, and the big Hulk-like character, and they focus so much on that the entire issue is just that, and then there's just little tidbits of what's actually the plot that we'll be doing.
Yeah, like this thing that they've done this experiment to turn him into Damage. He lasts for an hour. But it sounds like he doesn't control when it starts either, because they're like, oh, yeah, it's 12 hours till the next time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Everything's a ticking time
if that
bomb.
was the case, if they knew it was coming, why were they transporting him by plane? Right? That seems like the worst idea possible.
That's a good question.
I feel like maybe they know it's 12 hours now, but they didn't know when it'd start or something. I don't know. Maybe we'll get more of that in the next issue. I can't really defend it that much to say there's maybe more that we don't know about them.
No. I mean, made for some cool visuals, him falling out of the plane.
Oh yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, but also I'm not big on the design. I never really looked too much at the design of Damage, and the face looks weird to me, just because it's very skull-like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I don't have a problem with the look. The look's the one thing I really like about the book. Everything looked good. That'd be my kind of positive.
I think I agree with Matt that I'm not big on the design itself of Damage, but it's rendered well. It's everything looks good in the way it's drawn. Yeah,
and you have your big cliffhanger, which is the Amanda Waller and Task Force 11. I forgot we're on 11 now. I forgot that was introduced at the end.
Are they?
Yeah, she says that at the end.
Oh, I missed that part.
She has Task Force 11. Yeah.
I was really taking in the art by that point. So.
Yeah, I'll be honest. At that point, you're kind of just skimming the words.
Yeah. What makes it worse though is that when it says Task Force 11, it's in big like red text. It's like it's that one thing where it accents the whole thing.
It's actually harder to read, in my opinion, because it's kind of the yellow with the red outline, but it stands out less.
Excuses,
the black and white. No, because I read it, I saw it. I'm just saying it stands out less when you look at it. To me.
Well, it's that. I mean, even if it's harder to read, it stands out more. So you at least look at it and. You're like, okay, I have to decipher this because it's clearly important because they made it big and red. Like, so there's that. It's kind of this thing where sometimes we talk in TV shows, we talk about how it should have been a double pilot because they didn't really. Yeah. I feel like this is the sort of thing where it should have been a double issue to get all the plot in. If they were going to keep all this stuff in it, that is.
Yeah, I think it's just poorly structured in general. Like. They knew it wasn't a double issue. They knew it was just this.
Exactly,
and they
that's
chose
fair.
to do that anyway.
That is completely
guys,
fair.
it doesn't say Task Force X or Task Force 11.
What does it say?
It's Task Force XL.
Is that an L?
I thought it was a full stop.
An L.
It's a full stop, you know?
Because look at the way that they break up all the other letters.
I didn't think I needed this open.
I thought it was a full stop as well, not an L. But now that you're saying, looking at the way they split through the X.
Yeah.
Okay, it could be an XL.
I'm getting there.
And it doesn't matter. I didn't realize it still until just now, until I went back to look. But either way, it doesn't really want to make me read the next issue.
I'm still. I think I'm still on Task Force. I'm Team Task Force 11. Full stop. But I can't fault you too much for it. But I'm still
I
on
like
that.
Task Force XL because they have Grundy and Giganta. I assume that's Giganta.
I assume so. Yeah, the big legs at the back. I kind of like that. I like that you can't see it. You just see you just see up to the knees.
Yeah, and Parasite.
So.
Yeah.
Do we know who the guy in the red hood is?
Actually, I'm not sure who that is. Cara, do you get any idea who that is?
Let me have a look. No, I'm not familiar.
Yeah. Maybe if we'd been Suicide Squad, we'd have an inkling. But there you go.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not. Yeah, as the case may be. Yeah, I think I was worried about the writing getting in because it's Venditti, and I've not been into Venditti, and I'm willing to read issue 2. I want to read issue 2 and see what they're actually doing with the plot, and I'll make my call after issue 2 if I'm dumping it. The upside we have right now with these is that there's not another one of these out in week 2 next month, so I can just I give it a try, and if I don't like issue 2, I'll bail out then. But I'm going to see. I'm going to give it a little bit of benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to read issue 2. That's my stance.
I get that. I'm probably not because it's inherently bad, but I've got quite a lot of other books on week 2. And I've only got so much time to read them. And
week 3, sorry. I meant week 3. Yeah.
Clearly, I'm just going along with whatever week we're on.
Yeah, week 3.
And I've got quite a lot of other books this week of the month.
It was actually you saying that made me realise it wasn't week 2, because week 2 is actually quieter for you. And I went, wait, this isn't week 2.
Yeah, I just followed law. I was like, I guess this is week 2 then.
Week 3.
Yeah, I'll put this under my Green Lantern Corps. If I have time, I'll get to it. If not, I mean, it's cool. But
that's
a little disappointing. I was really big on this one going in, but it was still number 4 on my list of the ones I was excited for.
Yeah, I went through it because I was curious, because I wasn't really sure which ones I was more excited for, outside of the obvious one being Terrifics. I was like, so I went through them and actually I ranked them on Twitter based on excitement. Yeah. And this was kind of middle of the pack. It wasn't like high, it wasn't low. So I don't know if I'm saying disappointed necessarily, but not.
I think it's kind of exactly what I expected. It's an art showcase, and that's about it.
I will say the sideways previews at the end of the issues this week. I'm again not reading the bubbles or anything, just looking at the art. I'm digging the idea.
Yeah, and I read an interview. I found it on Reddit. I couldn't remember who's doing the sideways. Is that?
It's Morrison's helping out, right? Is this the one Morrison's helping out on? With Didio and Justin Jordan, I think.
Okay, maybe they're talking to Justin Jordan.
Or maybe it's just Justin Jordan.
Justin Jordan and Didio on the writing, and then Rocafort on art.
Rocafort, I remember that.
Well, they were talking to either Justin Jordan or Rocafort, and they were talking about how
which one's Morrison helping on then?
Isn't he doing the metal one shot?
No, he's helping one of these as well.
Well, there's that.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's on one of these too.
I haven't seen his name pop up on these previews yet.
That's because he added later. He's coming in to help.
Yeah.
I thought it was the one Didio was writing, but I guess not. If
I don't know. I'm just looking at the preview page here where it's telling me who's involved.
Yeah. Anyways,
Mike.
One of the creators was talking, and they were saying, "We'll see." What?
Mike.
The mic.
Oh.
Does he just ignore us for like a minute?
Steamrolled again, damn it. But basically, we'll see Sideways get their powers through metal. Like something happens through metal that ends up with people getting powers.
Well, that's the thing. You know how like we've got the new corner art boxes. Most of them have the Rebirth little logo underneath still, like to say that it's part of that line. These ones do say Dark Knight's Metal as the tag under the issue number.
Yeah, interesting. No, I'm looking forward to Sideways. Relatively speaking, I like the idea of DC having a Spider-Man more than having a Hulk. I guess. That's the first thing, because they have Blue Beetle. But Blue Beetle's not been so hot. We all kind of dropped that. But I do like the idea of them having like a high schooler who's a main major character who I can get invested in. So we'll see. I'm hopeful. But Damage, so I guess would be the overall thoughts after the first issue. But yeah, I'll definitely check out issue 2, and I'll see how I'm feeling after that one. But that is that. So that'll take us on to Super Sons number 12. Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason writing, Tyler Kirkham on art. This is the conclusion to the Super Sons of Tomorrow. It is largely an epilogue issue. The crisis itself was kind of dealt with at the end of the last issue with future Tim Drake, or Saviour, as he was going by, kind of sacrificing himself, who is now stranded in the timeline. And everyone gets a glimpse of it, actually, because they mentioned that they all get to see it. And we actually see this.
Psychic link.
Again, it's a double-page spread. It's a lot of the same things we saw the last time when we saw it, with all the crisis and various things.
A little bit clearer, though, aren't they?
A bit clearer, but it's all the same. I mean, I didn't notice anything new. They all seemed to be things we mentioned last time.
Yeah.
No, but definitely the brightest day, the revival of those heroes was there. That was more clear. I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff.
Yeah. No, everything was the same. I mean, obviously it was a dull-page spread, so everything was a bit more easily noticed. But
is that John watching the Legion in the top right?
That was from the Oz Effect. That was in the issue where Oz told him, and we thought it was the Legion, but apparently it was this place where everybody can go.
Yeah, no, I remember it.
Because I thought the same thing you did, Connor. And I was like, "Oh crap! Is this a peek of stuff?" And then I was like, "Oh no, that was." To come, but no, that's how issue part 2.
I'm almost surprised that there wasn't like something in here we didn't recognise that was like a sneak peek of something planned, because it's the time stream. It could be something for the future. Why not?
But I almost feel like this is Tomasi and Gleason putting kind of a backdoor pilot for this Tim Drake character for Savior. I mean, they gave him a name, and a new point of view. He's not exactly a bad guy at the end of this. He sacrificed himself to save everybody. So I'm wondering if we're going to get some time shenanigans.
I don't know if I want a Savior continuation, though. I'm kind of happy with him being left here.
I'm okay with it. I think it could be fun.
Yeah? Like a mini? Or, I'm
down. I don't think I need an ongoing.
No.
But a mini sounds fun.
Oh, fair enough. I just I think he worked well enough for this story. I'm not a big fan of the name or the outfit. So.
I think that's why I'm inclined to think there is plans for him, because why give him a new name and a new outfit for just this?
That's fair. Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe. So the Titans of Tomorrow, they kind of quickly vanish. They're like, you shouldn't know too much about your own future. Bye bye.
They kind of drove me nuts because I was kind of like, oh, they're here. How's this going to impact? And then they do the whole timey-wimey, you can't know too much. We have to go.
And Kid Flash gets a selfie, and Raven's not particularly pleased with his let's say,
respond?
Levity of the situation, I guess.
Yeah. So she destroys his phone, and Wally's just like, I can just pull that from the cloud. It's not gone forever.
I like how he's just like, I'm good. He's not annoyed that his phone's destroyed.
Yeah.
He's like, it's cool. I'll get another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they end up. So Clark first takes Damien and John aside and tries to be like, I don't know if you two should be hanging around each other, because apparently Damien, you're going to lead to my son blowing up and killing a lot of people. Maybe we should not do this. And John, quite rightly, convinces him, no, we need to make our own choices, and we're going to be their future. And it's actually quite touching when Damien's like, no, I'll be there to protect him. I promise you, I'll protect John. And John's like, no, and I'll protect him too. It almost feels like they're really, they've been fun hanging around each other up until now, but this kind of feels like, no, they're actually forming the childhood version of the Batman-Superman relationship.
The world's finest,
yeah. What's the funny way of saying it? The world's youngest. No?
Yeah. World's tiniest.
World's tiniest. Or I don't know.
World's funnest.
I don't know. Kid's finest. I don't know. Pick your wacky pun.
It doesn't really work that well, does it?
It doesn't. But you know what I was going for. You know what I was shooting for. So that's all thing. And basically, the Titans want to have a meeting, and their tower's a bit, out of commission because John blew it up. As you do. Yeah. So Superman's like, oh, hey, you can use the satellite. So he beams them all up to the watchtower. And I do kind of like that, Robin goes straight for the Batman. She's like, that's mine. Kid Flash takes Flash's chair. And then there's obviously a few of them who are like, Raven's like, I guess I'll take Cyborgs.
Well, I like that because
we know they have that connection.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Okay, that one makes sense. All right.
And Beast Boy taking the Green Lantern one amused me as well, because he's green, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, some of them have a more actual connection, whereas the green one is just kind of almost a joke. It's like, I'll take the green one.
Well, I'll take the green one.
And I like Corey going to Wonder Woman's. That's cool.
She's kind of that role.
Yeah, that thematically makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
Pete, that's the lower left corner. In case you didn't recognize it.
He's going based solely on the fact that the Wonder Woman logo was on the chain. He goes in his head. He's gone right. Okay, that was Starfire. I took that one.
Yeah,
very good. That's very good. So we have all this, and basically Damien's like, and again, Damien, who was dead set against John being on the Teen Titans, is like, hey, I vote that we nominate John as a half member until he's 13, in which he'll become a full member. And, Batman kind of shows, like, give me a full report. Like, what are you doing? You're voting? Just vote. I don't care that you're still in the room. Just vote. Get it over with, done with. Time to get things done.
Get out of my chair.
Yeah.
Like, that's how...
And no one raises their hand but Damien. And they obviously try and make him feel better, like, hey, John, like, it's not about you, it's about us. Clearly we have some issues to deal with and whatnot. And I'm like, I don't know, I feel like Aqualad's been on the team for like a month. Like this feels weird to say.
Flash just left and came back.
Yeah. It feels a bit weird in that sense. But they're all saying, no, like, we'll wait just now because you'll be a good member, but we have to sort our own stuff out. And honestly, the highlight of the book, and maybe the entire arc for me, might be this conversation with Damien and John at the end. That's maybe my highlight, which is Damien saying, hey, sorry about the vote. He's like, it's okay, and that's what partners are for. And then John says, you mean friends, right? He's like, oh, you just have to go ruin it. But sure. And it's actually the most touching, I think, the arc has been, and arguably their relationship's been. I mean, it's been great since it started, but a big fan of their pairing since day one. Yeah. But I think for me, this is where a lot of the meat of the arc, because I think up until now I was enjoying the arc, and there was a lot of it was the fun blockbuster. Not don't think about it too much, just have some fun with the characters all bouncing off each other. The fun fight with Batman and Superman with future Tim was fun, and then whatnot. But the resolution was just kind of quick and whatever, and it was fine. But for me, this is where the real value of this arc came from, was their bonding, and Damien wanted to protect John. That's kind of what I've kind of loved about this.
Yeah, I agree. I like the art too. It was
it's really
Tyler
solid.
Kirkham. I think this is the most solid I've seen Kirkham. Like, I like the way he draws both Superman and Batman. So they feel like they have weight to them, and in a book like this where they're meant to be looked up to, like, I think that's super important.
I think it's a talent when you can frame it looking down on Superman and still have him fill the frame and look big and like you should be looking up to him instead. Because you obviously the easy way to do that is just frame it looking up at him, and that's the go-to trick.
You do a low angle, but no, here it's still.
Perspective matters, basically. But no, I thought the arc overall was a good fun time. I think it succeeds much better than obviously Lazarus Contract, which was very murky. Yeah. What was the other one we had? I'm sure there was another crossover with. Those
are the only Teen Titans crossovers.
I think I'm thinking of Reborn. I think that's the other one I'm thinking of. I might like this more than Reborn, actually, if I think about it.
I like the stakes in Reborn a little bit more.
This is a more complete story of what it's doing, because Reborn was always never about the story. It was just, okay, this is the end point that we want to hit, whereas this felt like it had a story.
The stakes were bigger in Reborn, and I like the stakes, don't get me wrong, but ultimately it became just a big giant kind of explaining what happened and then how it fixes it at the end. Whereas this felt like there was more of a new character sort of bond that's formed out of it, so it felt more like it had like a purpose, I guess, in terms of characters. Obviously there was purpose to Reborn, it fixed a lot of things and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing, it felt like it was there just to establish and fix things rather than actually being a story in itself, whereas this feels like a story first. And
it's pushed the characters forward and developed them, whereas Reborn, well, I liked it, it was kind of, okay, we have to like tie off all these loose ends up and, take care of it, so...
Who's the other Clark Kent? Why is this? Why is that? Where have they been? Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I like both of them. One of them got rid of Connor Kent. The other one's like, he's right here in a different universe.
That's a good point. So, no, actually, Reborn's fantastic. Get rid of Connor Kent.
Of course.
I mean, he didn't get rid of him. It just established that he wasn't there.
He hasn't been there, so there's some strange things afoot still.
Yeah.
And here, I mean, from the time of Lonely Place of Living, where he was like, tell Connor, and Tim's like, who? See when, like, if Connor does show up properly in, like, the main timeline,
I'm going to just assume it's like that recent Avengers issue with that Vector chick showing up. But it's like, no, she's just been retconned in. Like, she was never here.
Yeah.
This is baloney.
I like how you were really coy about that at the start of the episode and referencing other things to say, oh, that's what it's doing. And then here it's like, screw it. It's just, that's what happens.
Well, that was the first issue. It's a week old now.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I thought it was fun. I mean, you get to see Bart, do his stuff too, and how he's different than Wally. I mean, they both kind of filmed the same space, like with the selfie. That's something Bart would have done.
Yeah, definitely.
And whatnot. So it just felt good to read.
I'd say regular Wally would as well, but Wally was a kid before the selfie existed, so you know.
Yeah.
As we know with smartphones, someone's going to be an asshole and be like, "Hey, in 1912 was someone taking a photo of themselves." Yeah, I get the concept of a selfie has always existed.
Cameras and mirrors have always existed together. We get that, but it's not the same as a selfie. Like, come on, people. But no, I mean the art and the story, both were a real big fan of. That double page.
I think the art.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the art typically has been quite consistently good throughout the whole thing. I feel like I think there was one issue where John had that ET neck. Whatever one that was a rougher issue, but typically it's been fairly solid.
Yeah,
it's not been bad.
So, no, I don't know. It wasn't like the biggest thing ever, but it was a fun little crossover.
No, I almost wish this wasn't part 5 and it was just epilogue. Like because it wraps everything else up. There's no real.
Well, that's the thing. In the solicit is referred to just as epilogue, whereas obviously on the cover it does say,
okay. Well, that makes.
But in here it calls it the finale of obviously the arc. So
I mean, it's kind of both. I mean, it's just really semantics at which point when.
Well, yeah, but I went in thinking like there's more to it, and it just wrapped everything up, and that's fine. The whole with Bruce when he wakes up battered. And Alfred's like, oh, it was just a dream. Like,
oh, that's kind of funny.
So that was fun.
I do actually. I think it will actually read better in trade almost, because I think it does suffer a little bit when issue 4 is all action and it felt kind of just big and dumb because of it, and then issue 5 is all the emotional wrap up.
Yep.
And that's really good. I think when you read it as a whole and they just follow on from one another, it'll just read better.
Yeah, as a story, it's really strong. But as individual issues, it maybe suffers from that. But that's a common problem in comics.
Yeah, it's just something I have to deal with from time to time. But hey, so that's 12, pretty good. So that'll take us on to Batman number 39, Tom King writing, Joelle Jones back on art. This is the next kind of pair of Super Friends issues. This is the Wonder Woman issue. And this one is an interesting one coming into the discussion, because the reaction to this issue on the internet has been a bit more diverse and heated than recent issues of Batman. Yeah. It's reminding me of earlier Tom King issues in which everyone was kind of unconvinced. I think this time it's a little bit different, because now we even if we don't like this issue, I feel like we're all confident that it doesn't necessarily mean that the run's going downhill.
No, we always knew this was meant to be 2 issues, so we just have to kind of get through it. We can get back to whatever.
Yeah. People so the plot of this issue, which some people have pointed out is very similar to an Action Comics issue. I can't remember the number off the top of my head. 700 something. And Tom King even admitted he'd never read that issue, but when someone told him that and he went and read it, he came back on Twitter and said, "Oh shit, it is really similar. Damn it."
That happens sometimes, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, hell, when you're hitting 1,000 issues of action, and that's not even including Superman issues. If you're hitting 1,000 action, you're bound to stumble onto a similar idea once in a while. So basically the plot is that Batman and Wonder Woman made this pact once with this guy, this defender of the realm.
The gentleman.
He's on the edge of the universe fighting back the horde of monsters and whatnot. And they basically told him that if he ever needs a day off, they'll come and replace him for a day. And he's made the call. I really like the opening of the issue with Wonder Woman. Gordon's all pissed, someone's turned on the signal, and he comes up.
Touch the light. I'm the only one supposed to. Her.
Yeah, hey Wonder Woman.
That was real cool.
I like that. It looked really good as well in the art. It was a really nice page.
I do love the reflection of Wonder Woman on the bat signal on the floor in all the rain. Looks great.
Yeah, I don't think we can fault the art really. The art is if you're going to criticize this issue, I don't think the art's the thing you're going to be criticizing.
Definitely not.
So Yeah, so she's like, oh yeah, so we got the call, we're going to go in, and Batman kind of explains it to Catwoman, why he's going, what's going on, and Catwoman's kind of left to chaperone this guy when he comes back out for the day, which, you know, leads to Batburger, which is fun. Some meta commentary there that I think Matt probably hated, where he's like, hey, Batman's really popular. It's like, Batman's popular everywhere.
No, it's not true. I mean, it's not true. It's not false. It's true. Like, but whatever. I'm not going to fight, you know, actual truth.
And to be fair, she's kind of his biggest fan, so she's going to stick up for him.
Of course, she's going to put him over.
Yeah. So that's going on, and we see, you know, Batman and Wonder Woman are fighting these monsters and whatnot, and, you know, the battle's going on, they're getting tired and whatnot, and it kind of builds up to like a little twist. I mean, you can kind of see it coming, because you kind of see in the Batman and Wonder Woman stuff that time seems to be passing quite a bit. It's like, because he's shaving at one point, and it's like, okay, but this has been a day, what's going on? And I'm actually going to compare it to the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer here a little bit, because
twice in 1 week.
You know what? The only reason he's doing this is because he's going back and rewatching some, and it's fresh in his brain.
No, it's not. He does this every week on TV.
Yeah.
Any excuse.
But to be fair, no, this is actually a thing that's in Buffy and Angel, is the idea that the Hell Dimensions have, like, time moves differently.
Yeah, well, that's
It's
almost fantasy.
It's a pretty common thing.
I don't care about this and anything else. I care about it from Buffy and Angel. So so that's the whole idea that time's moving differently. So they're not actually like aging in this place, but by the time Catwoman finds this out, because she's like, oh, they said you've been fighting there for thousands of years, and he's only been gone a year in real time. It's like, wait a minute, they've been gone for hours. It's like, yeah, and so then it cuts to them in the fighting realm, and they're like, yeah, it's been like 10 years already, and they're like, they've been there alone for 10 years. So far, I don't have much of a problem with anything, right? The stuff I've got a problem with in this issue, I think there's an argument to be made. I know people aren't really fussed with Wonder Woman's voice in this, and we'll talk about that as a separate
I hate it.
As a separate thing.
That didn't bother me.
It didn't bother me that much. I think there's one or two things that felt a bit stiff, mainly when they were fighting. I actually kind of liked the whole. I thought it'd be fun to use the signal. I liked that a little bit, actually. I thought that was a charming.
Well, that's the thing. I thought that was okay, and then it was the next section where I was like, okay, this seems weird now.
You could tell that he had Gal Gadot in mind when he was writing it, because it sounds very much like her delivery from the movie.
I can see that, actually.
And that's fine. Like, I was almost reading it kind of with an accent, kind of. That's the way she speaks.
Here's my thing with the Wonder Woman dialogue. I agree it does sound different, but to me, for the most part, it kind of still worked, because it's kind of in the same way that Tom King's dialogue for Batman and Catwoman is different from most people. So even when he had Superman and Lois, it was different from most people. It kind of felt like Tom King's version of what he's... Now, admittedly, maybe it just doesn't work for Wonder Woman the same way it's done for all these other characters. I think that's a fair point to make. But it kind of felt like that to me, because some people at the start of the Batman run hated how his Batman spoke, and I was always kind of into it, because I kind of liked his stilted kind of...
I mean, Cat and Bat still drives me nuts. But
I think it doesn't work for Wonder Woman, because she's a diplomat. She's supposed to... Her whole thing... We had that whole thing with languages in her own book, in the Rucker run, and the way she's so stilted just doesn't work for me with Wonder Woman. It goes against the way her character should be for me.
See, to me, it's kind of like it's fitting the style of the book she's in right now, rather than how she's normally written. And for me, that's not a huge problem. That doesn't actually bug me. If anything, it fits tonally more. That wasn't that. I have some problems with the issue, but that's not one of them.
See, to me, that is a problem. You know, you're saying, oh, it's adapting to this tone. I think the strength of having the other characters is that they should bring their thing into the book rather than change them to suit this.
I think it's case by case. I think it's because I think I'm not just going back to this because of Buffy, but just think of Joss Whedon's stuff, right, and think of how his characters sound, right. I feel like if you put like, and this actually works really well because he did Avengers, right, and there's lines of dialogue in that that's like, oh, that's a Joss Whedon line, right, and you can sort of hear it coming out of all these different characters. I wouldn't want him to avoid using the way he writes characters because he's brought in a character from something else.
I think that's different though, because this is okay. You've got an established tone and character already. You've got a voice for Diana already, consistent across all the other books, and then bring her into this, and she sounds different. It then feels like it's wrong.
I just spent time while you guys are arguing, rereading your dialogue.
Yeah.
And knowing that this argument's going on, it doesn't bother me. It's fine. it fits the story, like Pete's saying.
Don't get me wrong. There is a couple of moments in the fight. It's when she's talking, when she's like, "Oh, you're not there with her. You're here with me." That stuff felt a bit more awkward to me when we got to that section of the book. Up until then, though, I was fine with it. And by the way, I really loved Catwoman making fun of Batman's armor outfit.
You look ridiculous.
That was glorious.
Oh, I like that.
Also, the part where he's like, the Superman wouldn't be good for this because powers don't matter in this realm and fighting prowess is more important. And she's like, I'm telling Clark you said that. First of all, just the idea of hearing Catwoman say, I'm telling Clark you said that, is kind of amazing.
I like the way that, I think, I haven't got it in front of me to check, but I'm pretty sure the Clark was bolded just to show off. It's like,
all I know is if I ever get to write Superman, I'm putting Clark in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's learning it.
Yeah, it's a nice callback to the fact that she just bonded with Clark and Lois. It's a nice little tie back to that. And then he's like, please don't tell Clark I said that. I like that. Yeah, I was getting the relationship stuff with Catwoman and Batman. I dig. My problem with the issue is mainly the bullshit cliffhanger.
Yeah.
That's my real issue with the book.
I like the spirit of what it's saying. It's like a thought experiment. Like, you're in a place where time means nothing. You've spent so many years there already. You know, you're engaged, but overall, this because time is meaningless. Does that make this meaningless?
I think.
Well, they don't. I don't think they know that time's meaningless because, they're saying, "Oh no, he's not coming." They don't think. I think they think it's been longer.
Well, then they think that they're there forever. Then, and that again, that changes it because that means time's meaningless. It means they're not going back.
It's one of these things where
it's the desert island thing.
Yeah, it's one of these things where the idea makes sense to me, right? But it's introduced so quickly, and it's just a thing that's been thrust upon us that I don't have time to process it and really sort of accept it and feel the impact of it. And instead, we find out, and then immediately we go to the last page where it looks like they're about to kiss before we end. And my other problem with this is not only how quickly it's introduced, and I just have to accept that this is kind of a possibility, is that I know this is not how we break up Batman and Catwoman. I know this is a bullshit cliffhanger that it's going to be quickly dealt with next issue, most likely.
Yeah, it feels really cheap here at the end.
It does.
It reminds me that, remember that the issue I Am Bane with the Robins strung up?
Yep.
It reminds me of that cliffhanger a little bit.
Yep. I wasn't a fan of that either.
No, was I. But I mean, once every 30 or so issues isn't a big deal, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things, to have a bullshit cliffhanger. But no, it left me with a sort of like, well, that's how that's ending. Oh, okay. And I sat and thought about it and went, yeah, I don't think I like that very much. It just felt kind of there for shock. Oh, is the relationship in jeopardy? I don't think it is.
No.
Not. The Wonder Bat fans will be screaming for joy, most likely, though. The
Probably.
shippers. All them shippers. Matt's just composing himself. Give him a second.
Sorry, I don't want to blow my nose on the mic, I had to mute it, and then I blew my nose so hard it knocked my iPad onto the spacebar and it did something to the screen. So,
Joe, I hate when you blow your nose so hard that you actually pop your ears. Well, that's happened to me every so.
Happens all the time.
You're determined to clear that nose, and you just can't thingy. So this is the thing for me, is like some people really downright hate this issue. I don't hate the issue. There's a lot of moments in it that I really love. It's just the ending is kind of what I don't like, and the cliffhanger and that stuff.
I don't like the issue. No, I definitely don't hate it, but I think I dislike it. I think that there are things I like. The Batman and Catwoman stuff is still good. The art is extremely good.
The opening with Wonder Woman and the Signal, really good.
Yeah, and Gordon, good.
Yeah. And just compared to the last, I'm trying to put together 6 months of issues. There's, the 12 issues.
Times two, 12 issues.
Yeah, it's been top level.
Yeah,
I'm also including like the annual and those stories that.
Of course, honestly, probably even longer than that. It's been on top, like top of the world for so long that.
So when you get a mediocre issue like this, to me, like it's kind of in the middle, you're just kind of like, oh, well, that's a disappointment.
Now, I'm not worried. Like, I think, okay, sure, and especially since King saw the criticism, and he actually went on Twitter and said, "Look, I'm hearing all the criticisms. I'm happy you're telling me this. I'm listening." Like, and I like that King does that. I like that he pays attention, and he's like, "Hey, like, yeah." So obviously, I assume some people are being assholes about it, but he's listening to the internet. He's listening to the reception. He's saying, "Okay, I get you. Like, I'm listening." I get it. Now, it's not enough time to fix the next issue, so if the next issue has a lot of the same problems, then we'll have to deal with that.
I think that's, for me, I'm really like, okay, I'll just get through the next issue now. I mean, I'm not worried about the run in general, not at all, but I am concerned about my feelings to the next issue. I'm not excited for that in the way I normally am excited for Batman now.
But yeah, one issue that you're not looking forward to.
I kind of wanted to more how the Super Friends and Date Night went and explored the relationship between Superman and Batman. You know, that really cool first issue that was Lois and Clark talking about Bruce, and then Bruce and Selina talking about Clark. Like, I thought we would get kind of somehow Batman and Wonder Woman. Like, there was that in the Christmas annual, or the Christmas special, with Diana and Bruce lighting the tree, because they're both, you know, lost souls, and they're the only ones that can do that. I felt that story nailed their characters.
I mean, there's always a chance that when we get the resolution to this, it'll actually lead to some good stuff in the next issue.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not, but I know some people are really pissed that she makes no mention of Steve at any point during all this. It's all about, oh, you're missing Catwoman. No mention of Steve.
Yeah, that was things that were kind of bothering me as well. Like, in her dialogue, she said, you know, when she's saying, "Oh, all men who try to fight look ridiculous," it really doesn't suit your gender, and it's like, you're like best friends with Steve, who is a soldier.
He calls you Angel.
Yeah, I'll concur. That line's a bit weird. I'll give you that one.
Yeah,
I'll give you that one's a bit strange.
I read that as she was just teasing.
Yeah, teasing. Yeah,
maybe, but I think it just doesn't come out that way in the dialogue, to me at least.
Yeah, they always get typically a somber tone to it from the pair of them in this issue. You know what? It's not a big deal, right? We got a couple of weaker issues. The only small concern is what happens to Superman, where we had a couple of weak issues in Black Dawn, and we're like, oh, I'll be back to fine, start our next arc, and it just kept getting worse and worse for a while. But I'm not concerned. I'm not that concerned.
Well, I wasn't until you reminded me of that.
Well, you know, here's the thing, though. Like, you know, like we say, we had that trouble cliffhanger like way back at like, issue 15 or whatever it was. And look at how it's built up since then. War jokes and riddles, the rules of engagement, the double date, all this stuff.
I will go with power saying this is easily the weakest issue since I Am Bane? Suicide? What was the second one?
Suicide.
Yeah,
that story.
Yeah, this is easily the weakest since that and Bane. Like, I wasn't that big on that stuff.
I like that stuff though. So I mean, I don't know.
Oh. Two against one. You're wrong.
I used to care about that stuff, and now it's just like taste. And if you like it, cool. It wasn't for me. I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong.
I'm going to remind you of this statement next time you're fighting me on something, Matt. I just want you to know that.
Usually, I agree with that sentiment, but not when it comes to Pete here.
It's just fighting about I Am Suicide. We've done that.
Oh, we did. Yeah, we did that back then.
Yeah.
So there's no point in getting into it again right now.
Because I really liked I Am Bane, aside from that cliffhanger. That was my one like big negative point. That I
enjoyed that one a whole lot, you know. And,
so,
just in the second arc.
I think it shows that King's generally fantastic, but every so often there'll be a little slip just to prove that he's human. and that's
fine. Johns did that occasionally. I mean,
yeah,
he has so much of a backlog. Yeah. We only remember the good stuff, you know. But I'm sure there's Flash issues in there that I was like, oh yeah, that happened.
But besides, I mean, he's going to have to tank for a long, long time before I'm even comparing him to Snyder's, crash and burn.
Yeah, he was a curse there.
I'm just watching Connor's face.
I'm just in the same way Matt's saying, there's no point in getting into that with Am Suicide. I feel the same way with this. We know where I stand on that.
All right, okay. Well, do you
like bad things? 2 against 1.
Yeah. Shall we move on? Do you want to move on?
Yes, let's move on.
To the first good issue of Superman in a long time.
So I think it was on Facebook you had said this is the best since Reborn. And instantly, this is how much I want to fight with Pete, deep down. I read that initially as this has been the best since before Rebirth. And I wanted to fight him. Like, I sharpened my axe.
Which clearly makes no sense. Like,
I know, Pete. That's why I thought you were just trying to raise my ire, in a playful way. And I got out the axe sharpener, and then I reread it. I was like, oh, no, he's right. Okay.
Yeah, Reborn. Because after Reborn, it was Black Dawn, which was the start of the decline. This is a one and done. This is a story about Superman taking a bunch of cancer patients, kids specifically, up to the Watchtower, taking them to the moon. It is just a feel-good, do something nice story. But before we get to any of that, I want to talk about who Superman's fighting at the start of this issue. Because the kids are all in the hospital and they're watching out the window and they're seeing Superman fight these bad guys. Are you familiar with the Demolition Team, Matt?
No.
Yes, we've got one.
Yeah.
We actually, because we was it last month we did Green Lantern Sector 2814 as the monthly.
December.
Yep. They were in this. They were in that. This Demolition Team. And we were not making fun of them, but we were commenting on that review about how all of the tools were all bright yellow and we were like, it's because I'm going to fight Green Lantern and his weakness is yellow, and it never came into play at all. So I was laughing because I was laughing because they were here, and then I was like, all the tools are looking a bit more natural looking now. There's none of this bright yellow.
The jackhammer's still yellow, but
that's a jackhammer though.
Yeah,
exactly.
But a natural amount. Whereas before it was like they'd all been spray painted yellow from the the outside.
I thought these were deliberately created as lame characters for Superman to run through.
No, this is
the kids could watch.
Deep pull from the.
Deep
DC mythos. This is a deep pool of lame characters.
This is
from
Cold
past.
Snap level.
I have to be honest. It feels so good to recognize something that Matt doesn't. It's never happened.
Even if it only happened, we only just happened to read this thing last month. I'm still happy about it.
Still counts.
I mean, and they have Rosie the Riveter. I'm just like, she shoots rivets.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Like if she riveted people to things, I could get it. But she's shooting them like bullets. I don't.
Steamroller as well.
Affect Superman.
In fact, the Steamroller makes this team look like a team of characters from Splatoon. You know the paint roller character. Yeah. Give me that vibes. But so what was I going to say? More on Cold Snap. By the way, there's possible Cold Snap sightings coming up in next week's books. That's all I'm saying.
Boy.
Be hype.
Be hyped. It's been a long time. Need some Cold Snap in my life. And I feel like people who have listened, because it's been a long time since we had the Cold Snap stuff. I feel like there's people who only started listening to this show in the last year and a half who probably have no idea why we're referencing Cold Snap. But I'll explain next week if Cold Snap shows up. You'll get the backstory.
Well, you know what we'll do? Even Peter will go through and find out what episode that was, and we'll have a little editor's note.
Yeah.
We're doing editor's notes now?
You definitely titled it something to do with Cold Snap that week.
I did. I'm sure I did. I'm pretty sure I called.
But
I'm pretty sure
Cold Snap shows up next week. It's definitely Cold Snap is.
I'm pretty sure I called it The Legend of Cold Snap. I'm pretty sure that's what I called that episode.
Anyways, Superman.
Yeah. So he beats the bad guys and he notices the kids watching. He says hi and he goes in and arranges this. And the doctors and nurses and parents are rightly concerned, but he's like, no, trust me, safety's the first priority. And he gets Green Lantern. Hal shows up. Was it Hal actually?
Freaking space shuttle.
Yeah, it's Hal. Yeah,
Hal's around.
Yeah, Hal's around. Yeah, I just doubted myself because he's not typically been around with the Justice League, but Hal's around. He's got his jet with him, his Green Lantern jet, and it gets the kids.
That's a space shuttle, Pete.
Sorry,
it's
space shuttle.
Jet.
Fine.
The thing that really bothered me about that is the nose, where it has the Green Lantern symbol, is off center. It's like skewed to one side, and it just looks weird.
I was gonna try that up to Hal Jordan whipping it up real quick.
Oh,
probably.
That reminds me, there was a typo in Batman. At one point, Wonder Woman said embrace, but there was an A before it as well. It was A embrace.
Instead of Anne.
No, it wasn't Anne. No, it wasn't instead of Anne. The sentence just had like an A attacked onto the word embrace. There was no other word that it was meant to be part of.
Oh, some editor should get a little slap on the wrist for letting that slip through.
So I just wanted to just reminded me of it because you're talking about things being off center for whatever reason. So Superman takes them up and they have a game of what do you call it when you a scavenger hunt?
Yeah, scavenger hunt.
And
I almost called it Lost and Found. That's not what that is at all.
No, not at all. And they're looking for like various things. Like the Flash has had an emblem of his around, and there's a Batarang somewhere. And one of them is they have to get a picture of Batman smelling. So Superman has like a box of smartphones that he hands out to the kids.
Yeah. Flying around.
Yeah, and the main sick kid who we kind of see the most of tells Batman a joke, and Batman smiles. So they get the photo. It's kind of delightful. There's a lot of fun little gags in here with the lasso and various other bits and pieces. All the League members all kind of join in and contribute something to the ongoing proceedings. So it's delightful. It ends with them going out into the moon. They put them all in spacesuits. and they all write, and obviously there's a nice message here where Superman's explaining that everything up here is forever because, you know, no gravity. There's footprints of the moon landing are still here. Although I'm going to say they're not, because Superman's...
Sorry, I'm just telling you for a start that it's nothing to do with no gravity.
Well, no atmosphere. Everything
that was just wrong.
It's more or less has no atmosphere. Right?
Yeah. There's nothing to blow it away.
I just said that quickly. It wasn't. It was a throwaway comment.
Yeah, but
Science,
someone will get you in the comments, so I'm getting it for them.
And also, if you're one of those people that says we didn't go to the moon, I don't need to hear from you. Just keep it to yourself.
The point is that everything lasts forever, and they all write their names in rocks because the kids are all probably going to be dead soon.
Yeah.
So it's a nice sweet message where they'll always be on the moon.
Bedside manner, Pete.
Well, no, I don't have room for bedside manner because Connor's pissed me off now. So he's getting his button on, actually. Button's happening.
Oh, very good.
Connor, button's up. He's annoying me now.
Anyways, it got dusty when I was reading this. And I was reading it at work.
Aye.
And so my boss was sitting next to me because we're waiting for stuff to happen. I had some downtime. And she started asking if I was okay, and I chalked it up to allergies. Like, no joke. Because I don't want to have time to explain the issue. But yeah. Oh, man.
Just you're casually at work. Oh yeah, there's these terminally ill kids, and the Superman takes them to the moon. Like, I can't stop crying.
Well, it's just his speech to them, and just the main kid's name is Latif, and he's in a wheelchair, and there's that scene where they're going up into space and they hit 0G, and all the other kids get to float, and he's just like, no, I don't have control of my legs, so. And Superman's like, don't even worry about it. I got you. And that's the part where it got dusty. Because I was just like, oh my God, this is Superman, right? Like, personified.
Yeah.
This is what he represents. Is he's the best in everybody.
It's sad. It's sad that after 8 months of what we've had as Superman, I'm just worried that next issue is back to business as usual.
Well, that's the thing, because it's just a one-off. It's like, okay, you had a great one-off idea, and now we're going to actually do a story next time, and that might be where we go wrong again.
Yeah, it might
be.
Yeah,
but at least we had John in a Space Odyssey, so that could be fun.
That's what it says. It's a Superman Son Space Odyssey. That's what's coming next time. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But it's a really solid one-off issue. Absolutely. So it's got heart. It's very Superman story at its core. And got a nice message, so yeah, I can't fault it too much. And I will say I did think the art wasn't amazing. Like, it's okay, but there's some faces that I wasn't like. Wonder Woman's face was really bugging me. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what it reminded me of?
Only when she was at a distance, I found when they weren't really putting in the features. When it was just when she was in focus, it was fine.
So you know when you're reading and there'll be these ads that are done in the comic style, like famously the Snickers ad.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that art, to where it's trying to sell something, but it's not exactly for long-term storytelling.
Yeah, for me, it was kind of reminding me of it was trying to emulate like an older style. It was a bit more simple. Yeah. It was going for that kind of thing. I didn't like how some of them looked in that style.
I have a question. How big are the Batarangs? Like, that kid's holding it up. It's like, whoa, it's huge.
He's got different sizes for different situations.
I mean, how does that fit in the belt?
That one is that is a boomerang.
Yeah, it's not even like, it doesn't even look like it's metal, does it? It looks like it's fabric.
It looks like a wing of a bat.
That's how it fits. It folds and then it solidifies. Like Batman Begins, there's a little shock through it and it does zoom and it becomes the bat.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll allow it.
Aye. Dad, what do you want from me?
Yeah. I also like that Superman hid his cape in the curtains. Like, that's such a Clark thing to do.
Yeah. And the kid's too wise. He's like, nah, you're not getting me. Yeah. You're not getting me, alien boy.
Yeah, he leaves it S out.
Yeah. Also, Batman sitting at his computer has never reminded me more of Pete. That's how I imagine Pete goes about his business. Just grumpy.
You can just see there's kids in the background of Pete, and he's just going,
Why are these kids
that
here?
That is typically my reaction to children. That's not a lie.
Yeah? Oh, I've heard you yell at them in the early days of 121 when the ice cream man comes. And you're just like, hey, quiet. We get it. You like ice cream.
He's mellowed with age.
Yeah, for some reason I'm like 30 years ahead of my actual age for some reason. I don't know why, but it's kind of, you know, I was acting like I was 30 when I was 13, and now I'm in my late 20s. I'm acting like I'm, you know, in my early 60s. I don't know what's happening, but
get off my lawn.
Basically, I mean, that's the thing.
Back to the art. There's one that I really loved, and that's when they did a really cool thing with the reflection of Superman after he takes out the demolition team, and all the kids are staring out the window.
Yeah,
like it looks like a legit reflection.
It's a nice
the way they did it.
There's the nice moments because I like the final page as well in the moon when they're all looking up at the Earth. That's a really nice page. I think where it falls for me is some of the faces here or there where they're going for this simpler style. I just wasn't feeling it, but there are moments that really work.
No, it is. Yeah. That reflection one, that's got to be they just drew two images and then layered them in with the opacity, right?
Yeah, there was some trickery.
But they did it really well.
Yeah. But
morning, kids.
I'm not against some trickery. There's some effects you can only get with some trickery.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
As long as it looks good.
Absolutely, why not? So, all right, so let's move on to Justice League number 37. Christopher Priest writing and Philip Briones on art. Continuing People versus the Justice League. After a lot of speculation last week, it kind of seems after this issue that this fan is not necessarily an old character that we could have guessed.
Definitely not.
So what you're saying is I was right.
Yeah.
I don't remember you having any opinion last week, so I was just...
Oh, that's right. I don't remember either. I just remember you saying Prometheus, and you guys, it could be.
Yeah.
And then we moved on.
Yeah, sure.
Hey,
evidence.
Hey, just wait until we get to Batwoman. I've got some good ginger moments to talk about with you.
You do.
But we're on Justice League, and so Simon McKenna, we get some of the backstory of this guy, and he talks about his childhood friend and how he was there, and then he died, and he helped him get back on his feet because he was around when there was a Justice League fight going on, and a building fell on him, and luckily just broke his leg.
And right. Okay, let's start at this scene because this is the biggest moment.
Let's talk about
it. Week, potentially. Martian Manhunter is just with the team, and there is no Cyborg.
Yep.
Nope.
Now, obviously, we got that hint, 2 issues ago, that Manhunter was around, and they goes, we haven't seen him in a while.
Where's he?
Are we rewriting continuity? Was he a founding member now?
Do it. Just do it. I don't care. Do it.
It's starting to look that way.
There's another flashback to that guy talking to, I can't remember his name. But he was John's friend about Cyborg. They re-bring that up here.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Why are you not leading?
The only thing I would question about it is it's a bit of a murky perspective because Batman's in his Rebirth outfit, with the yellow around the bat symbol.
Yeah.
In the flashback.
Which implies we're kind of redoing like actual New 52 continuity at this point.
And that's fine.
Well, yeah, I'm not against doing that. Here's a crazy idea. You know how we were joking back when we had the fake Clark? What if it's Martian Manhunter? Because we've not really seen him for a long time. Like, what if he's pretending to be someone else? He is a shapeshifter after all, right?
Yeah.
What if? Here's a crazy idea, right? What if Martian Manhunter? He's not necessarily just pretending to be Cyborg, but he merged with him for some reason, and they're both Cyborg until they separate. Like, the reason why I'm saying this, right, is because we're establishing that there was Martian Manhunter in this flashback, but there was no Cyborg, right? We're seeing that. We also have this alien dude is Martian Manhunter's friend, and he was bonding with Cyborg. Not that I think he knows necessarily, or maybe he does know, right? I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't be completely out of the realm of comic possibility for them to pull something like this. And maybe there's a recent TV show that's also kind of influencing my idea here.
I think the anything in this issue that would support it is the dialogue that the friend says to Cyborg that it repeats here is "you appear to be human species."
Yeah.
Obviously, he's referring to the fact that you look like a human, but you're clearly not all because Cyborg. But you could read it your way as well.
You could read it, yeah.
And then you do have that effect where Cyborg loses half the mask.
Yeah, that stuck out to me. It sort of digitizes and then it's just a regular face all over, and I'm like,
yeah. And I'm thinking, I was reading it as he was projecting like a hologram. Like
tech,
yeah. The one that Batman, the first issue of the New 52. Yeah. That one that they introduced there.
Yeah, or even just with TV shows right now, like Flash has a thing where like Wells has Wells last season at least he had the face changing thing. Yeah.
So I was assuming it was that, but maybe you're onto something. I don't know.
That's a lot of hurdles.
The other thing that they could do is, what if it's that character in the Avengers book you were just talking about where they've got that situation going on? What if it's that? Where they've all the League of and the heroes have all kind of forgotten in the same way that they have about other
because
heroes.
The reason why I say merge rather than just saying that it's always been Martian Manhunter and Cyborg's not really around, and I'm thinking because going with the Cyborg stuff that you even brought up with the Raven, right? That we had that connection moment. That's why I think he's still in. Like the real Cyborg is still part of that, rather than it being separate. Like where Cyborg's just been missing all this time, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, was this a problem in the art or something? Because when Cyborg he digitized his face, so he's got a full regular looking face, and then he presses the disconnect button, and then the next page the Flash is running around him, but he's still got the half face, like normal. Mm-hmm. And then the next page again, he doesn't. Gone. He's back. He's back to just the.
That could just be an error in the art.
It could be just an art error.
It could be an error. It could be that he's putting it back on for Flash because he's not supposed to have this face like this.
Well, no, because we see him talking to Flash with it off.
Oh, sure, okay.
It's strange.
They're pulling the cables because the fan is manipulating them, and he's Watchtower stuff.
Yeah, he's tapped in. He's listening to their words, so they stop using the comms.
And we talked about the humor like with Jess last time. And here it's with the Flash where he's going and he's disconnecting stuff and Cyborg's yelling at him what to do.
Speaking of Jess, I want Brave and the Bold, Batman and Jessica Jones. Oh, not Jessica Jones, sorry, Jessica Cruz. Sorry, I'm mixing my Jessicas up.
Yeah, you are.
Sorry, what are you doing hosting this show?
Yeah, Jessica Cruz. Because there are like few interactions here. One where she's annoyed because he keeps going behind her. She's like, "Stop doing that! I hate when you do that," and he does it again. That's hilarious. And then later on, when she goes in to check out where Simon disappeared and comes back out, it's just them working together. Like I want them working together. It's actually kind of delightful because they're so opposed. Like she's so bright and cheery and kind of nervous about him. I just kind of like it. I like their pairing. It's great.
Yeah.
But
I just like the point I was trying to get to is Cyborg saying "Walk away from me."
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like even if that crazy idea I just came up with is not right, because I'm kind of just pulling a lot of it out of things, but I do think there's hints here. I think this is not an accident that we mentioned him 2 issues ago, and then this issue we see him in this flashback. There's no way that is an accident or a coincidence. So what I'm saying is that somewhere or another we are going to reveal the whereabouts and location of Martian Manhunter at some point in this run. Priest is setting it up.
Yeah, I think we're getting it in the next 6 months.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, yeah. In the next 12 issues, absolutely.
You know about Simon and what that was about? Like, he had a whole mental block about the ring.
Yeah, so the fan was doing something to his head. He had like an inhibitor in his neck.
Right.
And it was making him...
And he broke that off, but the ring was on him the whole time. So was that from the inhibitor?
Yeah, the inhibitor was basically masking that it was there. So he didn't know he had his ring on. That was the thing, because the whole thing is he can't take a ring off a lantern. Like, he just can't physically do that. So he was just making him... And that's the thing, he dresses up as Green Lantern this time to try and assassinate another person on TV who's been, dissing the Justice League. The fan.
Yeah, I love how he looks in the Hal Jordan suit, and he's just standing there smoking. I'm like, this is a great image.
It was the same with the Batman one last time, and... Again, it's a classical Hal Jordan suit, and even just the way he's like, Hal Jordan, he was the real deal, he was the Green Lantern, and then you've got Lawrence of Arabia over here, so he's and he's like, crab face Green Lantern, he's got that asshole Guy Gardner, he lists all the lanterns out, and he's...
Does he mention Guy? I thought he didn't.
Maybe he doesn't, maybe he mentions everyone but him, but he mentions a lot of them.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I thought, because you and the Mexican chip, crab face Guy, that Soul Brother Stewart,
yeah,
and then he goes on to Bird Lantern, Squirrel. Yeah. So yeah, he doesn't. He's fine with Guy Gardner.
And Kale, apparently.
That's not good.
That's not good, Matt. I agree.
No, that's what I was going to say. Kyle's there. Otherwise, I'd say, okay, well, this guy's probably pretty damn racist. I mean, he probably is anyway, but...
Yeah, that's right, yeah, because he specifically lists everyone who's not a white guy, basically, other than...
Yeah. Other than Kyle.
Yeah, so... Yeah. Well, he even starts with the Lawrence of Arabia dig. Like, he He boils it down to that, then Mexican chick, and then Soul Brother. He does all these insults, and then it's like all the aliens. He's like, oh, the crab face and this and that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is also commentary on fandom. That's what I was reading. It's just jogged all that.
Oh.
He's the fan, right?
Yeah,
And he claims he loves Justice League.
Don't change my character. Keep the white man. Yeah, he's that guy.
Yeah, keep the guy there.
Crab face guy is Kyle, right?
Kyle,
I thought that was a joke at the stupid
mask.
mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, he's kind of sometimes the worst people in the fandom that won't just accept change. And so he's, he doesn't like. I still don't know his plan. Like, is he forcing them to turn on the Justice League by doing all this? Like, does he realize he's making it worse, or is he doing that on purpose?
Well, no, I think he's okay with.
He cares.
Yeah, I think he's their fan, and he's protecting who's dissing them because he wants to. He wants to basically. It's almost
he wants to keep it pure.
Yeah, it's almost like a Zoom motivation with Wally. He wants to make them the best Justice League that he thinks they should be. Is basically his goal.
Right.
So we have some fun stuff where he goes to assassinate this guy on TV, and the blonde that's interviewing him turns out to be Wonder Woman. Like, she stands up and she's like, "It's her."
Yeah.
And at first he thinks it's another knockoff, and then the guy who was going to kill takes off like the wig and it's like Aquaman who was in disguise.
Yeah, it's a Mission Impossible mask.
Yeah.
Like, that killed me.
Yeah, it's great. And then the team show up and they get him. Now, it seems at the end he one-ups them because they all teleport back up to the Watchtower, and they seem to not want to. It's happening against their will. Because, like, hey, we're teleporting. But it gives them this predicament where this guy knows all their identities, and he's like, he's infiltrated them so much, he knows all their things, that if they actually give him over to the justice system, that all their identities, everything that they've done is going to become out in the open, and it's a big dilemma for them. So how do they deal with them?
Just a question. You said that he beams them up to the Watchtower.
I think that's what he did. I've not looked at it yet.
Are you sure? Because it doesn't actually show where they are. You just see them on a floor, and I was wondering, okay, are they on the Watchtower, or is it going to be a mystery of, okay, no,
well,
why
that's
is
a
he
fair point.
here?
That's a fair point. Like, because I think the way she phrases it, I assumed it was the Watchtower, but you might be right. They might be beaming them elsewhere.
Oh, they are beaming out. They haven't gone there yet, but.
I think I was guessing Watchtower, mostly from the cover, because it looks like this is another one of these things where the cover looks like it's more related to the next issue, where they're all debate. Because at the end of it, the cliffhanger, like next time on, it says League divided.
A Watchtower divided. Yeah.
And the front cover is them all arguing in the Watchtower by the looks of it. So that's why I just assumed that's where they were going. No,
that makes sense. I like that he's leaving himself, just teleporting the rest of them away. It's like, all right, you're stuck up there now, and I can do my thing.
Yeah, but it's not everyone. Superman's not there. Like.
Yeah, he's too busy at the Senate hearings, trying to stick up for the League. Yeah. Basically, that's what he's up to.
A little too close to Batman vs Superman for my liking. Superman testifying.
That's fair.
But I feel like this is another identity crisis dilemma where we're going to get to a minor wipe, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's where John comes in. So I don't think they'll use Zatanna. I think if they're going to wipe him or have that,
yeah, I mean,
it's going to be something telepathically.
It'll almost be the least interesting thing if it's just a case of them saying, okay, we need to go find John so we can use him to help. And if it's just a case of going and getting him and he's in a shack somewhere, then, whatever. I mean, I'll be happy to see him, don't get me wrong, but I'm almost excited. I feel like there's more of a mystery going on, because of the way that he's been referenced now a couple of times.
I think it's interesting because there isn't actually a mystery other than that we don't know. No one.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
No characters are acting as a mystery because they're just like, oh yeah, we haven't seen him for a while. They're not going, oh, where's he?
That'd be one that would be like, well, he's been here the whole time, and then he's just kind of.
Or he's mind wiped everyone into thinking that something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I feel like I'm expecting one of those things to be the case. Because I think it'll be exciting and fun, and why did he do it? And it'll be a good way to introduce him back to the team and have him be here like he should be on the team, like he was always here because he was technically.
Yeah, one of the big seven.
So, yeah,
I am interested because if we are retconning all this stuff, we have to redo Cyborg's origin, right? Because at the moment his origin is so tied to that Justice League story. Unless
we go with my whole they're merged. I mean, I guess the start still feels weird. Even if in that case, but
yeah, because by that logic, he's still not there. He's still not a founder, is he?
Yeah, but I mean, maybe the whole teasing of how he should be leading, and maybe it leads him back to a Titans team to lead them.
Or I think that's where that's pushing. Yeah.
All of these things sound like good ideas to us, I think. So
yeah,
go for it. But hey, no. So we cannot say that Justice League and Priest on it is not giving us interesting questions.
Really enjoyed this read. It's the first time I've I've really enjoyed a Justice League run in a good long time. Because even the John stuff was just getting tiresome towards the end.
Yeah.
You know,
It was John stuff was best in the middle. Like it started off going, okay, this is kind of familiar ground.
Yeah.
But we get what we're doing because it's New 52. We got to start over. The
Yep.
stuff in the middle, around Forever Evil.
Forever
we
Evil
had,
was
then we had Lex and Cold on the team. That stuff was really interesting.
Darkseid War was
Well,
fine.
it's also-
It just went on too long. It was far too long for what it was.
It's good in concept, but it kind of
Yeah. The most of it were like Cyborg was those issues where he was rediscovering himself, and and you had the Metal Men involved, and all
those
that.
were good.
I think the most I liked
so-
Cyborg was when we did Judas Contract. I think I like Teen Titans Cyborg way more, which I think is common actually amongst people who are big Teen Titans fans. But
I don't think it. Yeah, I think that's a pretty normal opinion.
That's the default.
But hey, so that's Justice League. So really solid issue. So that'll take us on to Green Lanterns number 39. Tim Seeley writing, Ronan Cliquet on the art. This wraps up this arc with the Elizabeth Vok and Regent Vok and Angara and the Molites. All this stuff all comes to a head. Here's the thing about this. I think this is a pretty solid issue. It kind of is hampered by the fact that the plot itself took a turn that we didn't like a couple of issues ago, but the actual issue itself is mostly pretty good and has a lot of cool moments in it.
I agree with that. I think on its own, it's fine, but because it's the end of this arc where I'm kind of checked out, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm glad it's done now.
This saved it for me. I really like this issue. Not to tip my hand.
I liked it a lot as well. I think the only problem I have with this issue is that I didn't like that Elizabeth turned out to be just this evil villain. So her being the central villain is my biggest problem with it. But the actual fighting, where it sets up the story for the next thing at the end, I like all that stuff. And of course, giant green Kurt Cobain, I cannot fault.
That is the highlight, clearly.
I'm not even a Nirvana fan. Like, I like Nirvana. I recognize what they did for music. That said, her using Kurt Cobain to basically call Lizeth pop trash, it's perfect.
It speaks to you, doesn't it?
Well, because that's what grunge was, right? Like, it was speaking out against the hair metal, and that's what it was alternative to that.
Yeah, it was going, hey, stop with all the showy stuff. Let's just do the music.
Exactly. And so the fact that they use Cobain, and I just,
I just want to put out that I also love hair metal. I'm listening to Def Leppard right now.
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong with hair metal. Towards the end, though, it got super dodgy. Like,
it got gimmicky, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so there's still, I'll listen to Van Halen and Sammy Hagar any day. Like, that's fine. But towards the end there, when grunge started taking over. So just that on the level. Seeley has that joke layered. You know, you can appreciate it just for Cobain, but if you get the whole against the pop, too, I just... I still have problems with Lizeth. Like, because she came in as such this innocent character, I would have liked a longer build. Like,
the turn wasn't effective because we.
No.
I'm still confused. I know I said this last time. I'm still confused as to why she revealed herself to Simon when she did.
Yeah.
It makes even less sense.
I feel like I can resolve that to myself with he revived her, so there was a little bit of she was compelled to tell him the truth. There was a part of that.
I get the genuine connection and wanting to like have the romantic night with him. I still don't get the revealing that she's red tied.
I'm actually a bad guy. Yeah. I don't get it.
There's some good moments in there. I liked some of the Angarans helping the Molites and saving them because she actually, Elizabeth actually tries to murder them all in their
genocide.
Yeah, genocide. Yeah. She actually comes on the TV screens and she's like, "Hey, these impure people," and she starts like, "I was going to kill them all, make them pure again," and it was, all this nonsense.
Yeah, Angara's never done Space Hitler before, right?
Well, that wasn't Angara. That was neighboring. That was,
but the system. I know, but they're all related.
Well, no, because that's 28.
Now who sounds like Space Hitler?
Korgar's not in 2814. It's neighboring.
No, it's not. Yeah. It's the next one over. I'm aware of that.
They're all related.
Okay. But still, I like the fact that Angara's been split since then, and I liked her motivation of the Green Lantern should be one of us. Like, especially in this political climate where you have some not so great people on the right wing using that kind of logic.
Rhetoric.
It's cool to see a supervillain. Yeah, rhetoric.
It's the idea of even a shitty one of us is better than anyone from any other
Exactly. And the fact, like, she's so pissed that he died on Earth, and then an Earthling or an Earther, whatever term you want to use, took it up, and now that there's like they've multiplied. There's like 6 Earth Lanterns now when there was never one to begin with. And that how much that upsets her. I wish we could have gotten seeds of that early on with her instead of just the last 2 issues.
I think that's where this falters for me, where, in execution of what this issue itself does, it's pretty solid, but it kind of feels like, okay, this wasn't earned.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, okay, it's cool.
Yeah, her stuff wasn't. The other stuff, though, with the
stuff with the Mollites and stuff is more...
Mollites was great.
Yeah.
Jessica, of course, had a couple of great moments as well, outside of the Cobain stuff. I loved when the head Mollite, climbed the rope or whatever it was, the little therapy line she taught.
Here's your rope.
And it's just the panel of her going right back at you, and she's like pointing back at him. Yeah. I'm like, oh, Jess, you're the best.
Yeah. Seeley does have a handle on these characters, and I'm grateful, because there's not when we first started this book, and we were all kind of close to dropping it because of the Red Lantern stuff, but we stuck it out, and I feel like Seeley's been able to jump on and have a good handle from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
I want more of Jessica in the battle armor. That stuff looks awesome.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah,
It's a great design.
It's really cool. I quite enjoyed this issue. I think I'm excited again. I'm actually glad they're bringing back the what was her name, Night Pilot. Because I was talking to Cara about this actually during the week, about how they kind of presented her as just a one sort of scene joke almost, and that'd have been fine. But I actually really liked that it was a seed for more that what he's doing next. So we're bringing back Night Pilot, because much as only she was in one scene, I did like her for that one scene.
Yeah.
So she was, she instantly had a personality.
Also, we found out that there's a superhero dating app called Keeper.
Oh, we knew that because he used that in that issue.
That's how we found her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I missed that in the first time. But
that was a reference.
He revealed that here.
No, that was a reference to that at the time. Yeah.
Well, either way, I still like it. It cracks me up.
Night Pilot's in a bit of trouble. She's apparently been enslaved to work on an asteroid belt or something.
She's mining.
The next arc is, or at least the next issue is called Superhuman Trafficking. Play on words, of course. But no, I enjoyed this. I liked the art as well. For the most part, I thought it was
it's
good.
Solid.
But it reminds me actually, though, I liked the art in Justice League as well. There was just one panel of Jessica in Justice League that bugged me. Her face was a bit weird on one panel, but that wasn't a big deal. Just because I'm looking at the Green Lanterns just now. But no, solid. So I think Seeley's still on track after maybe a little stumble. A few issues ago.
The landing.
Yeah.
A bit murky in the middle, but hopeful for the future.
And speaking of really good, but maybe a stumble in the middle, let's take us on to Nightwing, issue 37. Sam Humphries writing with Jamal Campbell and Klaus Jansen on art.
Are we all on the same page here?
I hate this, yeah.
I know how I feel.
How do you feel, Matt?
How does Pete feel? Okay, I don't hate it. It was tough to read. It was very awkward, and I felt all the goodwill Humphries had towards being a Nightwing fan, I felt it squandered some of it.
I don't feel squandered, but I'm kind of similar to you, and I don't hate it, but I didn't like the issue that much. Here's the weird thing. I like the little tag at the end and what it sets up, and I liked that shot of all the casinos on the bay, and it's like all the different colours and stuff. Right, this is the thing. I thought there was no Chang, but the artist Campbell at the start and the end of the issue, I thought he actually did a really good job of emulating the style we've had.
I thought so too.
In the book. And so the issue started, I was fine with it, and I liked a few pages at the end. The rest of it, though, which is this flashback to when Batman and Robin first dealt with the Judge, I did not enjoy. I thought the art was downright terrible.
So it is a different artist.
I said that.
Yeah. I'm saying, just because it's clear.
Yeah.
I will say, Baby Ruthless might be one of my favorite superhero names. So
she's all right.
That's pretty cool.
But yes,
completely unnecessary though. Like,
I feel that way about the whole issue. I feel like, honestly, I don't know if it's to give Chang more time for the rest of the arc or whatever. but it felt like this was just a filler issue because we had to like give some time to something.
This is something I mentioned in the annual episode that we did, where I feel that I'm at a point where I'm noticing the double shipping is hurting books at times. And this issue is one of those where I feel like, you say, I feel like we're just waiting for Chang to do the rest of the actual arc. I feel like this is one of those.
I saved this book for last, knowing how Connor felt about it. And I really love the last 2 issues. So I was like, oh, this will be my big, finale book. And then I was like, oh, this is a slog.
Do you know the thing is I'm not even worried about the rest of the arc. I'm sure we're going to be fine when we get back to the main story. Those last 2 issues were so good that I'm not even concerned. Yeah. It's just frustrating because it feels like, oh no, we have this flashback story just to fill an issue because
I don't understand why Dick is suddenly Jason in the flashback. Like the way he acts, he's being all really reckless and aggressive and going, "Oh, I'm going to prove myself."
He's more Jason.
Jason's whole thing.
He's more Jason-like. I'm not going to necessarily fight that too much in the sense that I buy that most people that age would maybe have those feelings when they first start.
He wants to prove himself to Batman because he feels like this is his opportunity, and I like his relationship with the Judge where he's gotten out. This is the first time I let him escape, and then there was the college thing that happened, which anytime we can see him go off to college, I think that's cool because that's a huge time in Dick Grayson's life. So I like that relationship there, and I almost like that the Judge is almost. I don't want to say he's a good guy, but he has good intent.
I won't say he's got good intent, but at least the idea that he's against gambling and seems to want to not have... Because his whole plan in this flashback is to put, was it toxic waste or whatever, on the base so that it's unusable for years.
Well, and because he sees that the corruption that the casinos are going to bring, and it doesn't have a place in Bloodhaven. And then we see this is what's happened with the corruption, and he's only come back to clean up the mess that he foresaw. So I like that thread. I just feel the rest of the Dick's dialogue during the
flashback,
not even dialogue, narration boxes.
So much narration, so much exposition.
Yep.
It's because it has to explain what's going on the whole time, and I feel like this is the thing though. I feel like we didn't need any of this. I feel like we already got how dangerous the Judge was. We didn't really need this. Like the one key point.
He feels.
Like the one key point we might have learned from this is that he's always been against the gambling in the casinos, right? That's maybe the one thing we had to learn out of the flashback. But we could have got that another way.
He didn't pick up a taste for Blue Hawaiians until later. There's not one to be found here. But he also doesn't seem like he seems much more dangerous now. Like something's come unhinged. Here he just feels like whatever his power set, however it works, if it's the power to compel people by giving them these golden, or if it's a telepathic or whatever.
Yeah.
It seems much more controlled here than it does in the modern times.
Oh, you could say it's more controlled, or in modern times he just wants them to be that reckless and crazy.
You know what I mean?
Like,
like it's
like, and this is the thing, like the other main thing that we learn from the flashback, which is relevant, is that Guppy's father, because we've had this Guppy side plot, which I've been enjoying actually. It's not felt like tacked on to me. I feel like
I've liked it.
Yeah.
I saw an article that said the best new thing for Nightwing is what do they call him, a proto shark guy, and they're talking about Guppy. And I was like, oh cool, he's getting some love.
I like Guppy. He's sympathetic, and so at the end of the issue, so we find out that his father was worked for the Judge at one point. And
Sturgeon.
He's maybe a way that Dick can get to the Judge. He can maybe get some info from him. And we know that Guppy's father's been ill. He's been lying sick in bed, and Guppy's been trying to get meds for him and stuff. So we end with a big cliffhanger where we see that Guppy's got a gold chip, and he pulls out a knife. And I actually really liked the last page. I thought, oh, this is a nice little cliffhanger. I like it.
Yeah.
But
what I like is, for him, the gold coin doesn't play like compulsion like we've seen, because he's sitting there staring at it. He's crying like he's making the choice himself. Yeah. Like he's going, okay, he's dying anyway. Well, I can't save him.
It goes back to this weird idea though, where the Judge, he always sort of presents it as it'll lead to something that you want. Like, you want to do this for this thing. So in this weird way, it almost feels like it is kind of like persuasion, but it takes a while of thinking to actually to kick in.
It's not the mental compulsion like it seems. It's like you do this and that's it. You're just going to do it.
It's more like
he can't make you do something you didn't want to do.
Yeah. It's more like a seed that grows. Like he plants this thing, and it goes to an uncontrollable amount where eventually you will just do the extreme thing. That
I'm telling you, he's connected to that damn tree. Like, y'all laugh at me, but
maybe
you
he
got
is.
the tree showing back up here, you know. And then you just said he plants a seed, like.
You're not wrong.
Maybe that's a possible thing. But easily a misstep of an issue, like, other than the one or two things at the start or the end. Like the bulk of this issue was tedious to get through, and the art got worse as it went along. Like talking about the flashback, I thought it started off just being kind of weak, but whatever.
By the time you got to Batman and Robin in the tree.
Yeah, that was atrocious. I don't know what was going on there. The other one that bugged me is when you see the judge on the pier and he's like got his arms out and he's like smiling about what his plan is, and I just thought it looked so bad. His beard, like it felt like so.
It looks superposed.
Yeah,
you know, like
it felt like he's wearing a wig and or a fake beard, and I'm just like, why? It shouldn't look like that. There's no reason why it should look. Hey, if it turns out to have a fake beard, like that's a big reveal at some point, then I'll give them credit. But until then. Not so much.
Yeah. No, I regret spending my time on this issue. Like, I really do.
Yeah. I look at it for what it is, so I'm not super angry. They should have planned better. But
it's just annoying to have this 3 issues into the run.
Yeah.
When it had been so good, you know, so much promise, so much like, oh no, this could be, you know, something special, and then we don't even get 3 issues till this. And if it is like you speculate, a case of okay, we're waiting for the artist, then it's even more irritating to me.
No, it's a thing. I mean, I hate to say we should do something the way Marvel does it, but sometimes with Marvel books, it'll sometimes be double shipping, but sometimes be single, depending, and it'll almost rotate between. They almost wonder if that'd be better for some books like this, where we could have just taken this issue off. And
I'd rather have just not had an issue this week and got back to it next time.
Like I say, my enthusiasm for Humphries' Nightwing ring's not actually been diminished at all. It feels like this filler misstep issue that's just kind of there. And the 2 details that we needed from it could have easily have been, you know, worked into the next issue or whatever.
Maybe.
But hey ho. That'll take us on to Batwoman number 11. Kay Perkins writing this. I didn't realise this wasn't Bennett. Before I read it, I just looked at the issue and went, oh, it's Perkins jumping over from Superwoman, and Scott Godlewski on art. And this was actually, I thought, quite a not in the traditional use of the word, but delightful little one and done story with Professor Pig, who I always enjoy seeing. And I don't know if you guys enjoyed this as well, but I was into it.
I didn't love it. It was solid.
Yeah, I enjoyed parts of it. Have we gotten a definitive Pig origin, like? Or is this just meant to be a mystery?
I can't remember.
She seemed pretty. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can't remember how much they went into it in Morrison's original, like, you know, story with him. This issue certainly implies that he has been in contact and/or met Alice at some point, and he's texting.
Yeah. So
Matt.
Jesus. Yeah, and he kind of knows her identity.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he seems to know her, and I like the idea of Alice and Professor Pig being buddies.
Yeah.
I'm down with it. Especially given how her water looks like, it kind of goes along with the whole idea of the dolls and all the rest of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's very into the Lewis Carroll.
Yeah.
You know, Professor Pig. Another thing, why exactly does he do this? Like, I get that not every Batman villain needs the reason, but I feel like...
I'd have to go back and read to give you anything specific. I just like it because it's creepy as shit.
Okay, if I can accept it on that level too. I just didn't know if I'm forgetting something, because I loved Pig in that Batman and Robin run.
Oh, he's great. He's basically like a serial killer turned up to 11.
Yeah,
for
he's
Batman.
So demented. It's so great.
I love it.
And the fact, like, when you find out that he makes the porcelain from the bones of the victim.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that added the creep factor.
That's the thing. Let's not gloss over the ginger character in this book. There's a couple of friends. They're in Cairo and they're looking at the pyramids and whatnot. And he makes some comment about, oh, let's go talk to the local girls. They love gingers. And then they get...
I just want to say, they love American gingers. I'm exempt from this. I'm not to be lumped in with these pricks.
But then like, you know, later on the same page, he gets turned down like really quickly. His friends like, I thought they liked gingers, and I was just giggling to myself. I like that some ginger humour is making its way into my comic books. It's the best.
Of course you do.
It's the best. I loved all this stuff with Batwoman kind of like in Cairo at night, like looking for the victims and like you know, the Daltrons going around.
Yeah.
Trying
Yeah,
to
the Daltrons
them.
are super creepy. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I feel like they have a walk. Like you can't tell because it's art, but I feel like they have a staggering zombie kind of walk that makes them a little bit more creepy.
I can see
know?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get you.
I can see it. I also really like when Batwoman gets there. It feels very violent. Like, you know, he almost stabs Julia, and like he throws knives at Batwoman, which he stops with a key.
Yeah.
Like I like how he's just going for the sharp objects. Like it feels like a proper demented serial killer. I've always liked that.
I like that. I wasn't super big on the flashbacks. They feel a little bit superfluous.
Yeah. The flashbacks. I mean, I like the flashback in and of itself.
I like the Halloween.
Yeah, the Halloween
I
flashback.
like what it is, but as to what it actually adds to the issue.
Well, the whole thing is that basically it's all motivation for Kate to kind of, because Sophia at one point said something like, "Oh, you don't know the truth about Alice," or you know, and she kind of like wrote it off as, "Oh, it's just crazy talk." But the comment from Pig and her kind of like ignoring stuff, kind of leading to people being hurt, and like she could have saved more if she hadn't ignored stuff. It's kind of the motivation at the end for her to go back and try and like dig into the past of Alice and try and figure out like you know Alice / Beth and find out you know how did she become how she was and all that. I feel like that's what we're getting next. That seems like what it's building up to.
Yeah, maybe. It just sounded a bit like easy, you know, when she's just like, she's just remembering this flashback. You know, she hears, bag of bones. Oh yeah, the bones, porcelain, of course. It felt a little bit like, okay, really?
Well, to me, that just felt like it was like that was the connection that made us think of it, but that wasn't really like the thematic reason for us to get the flashback's not the same reason why she is thinking about it. If that makes sense.
No, I get it, but it just didn't. It didn't necessarily work for me in context of the issue.
It was the comic book equivalent of an Arrow transition to a flashback.
Yeah, and we
And that's
call
terrible.
shit on those all the time.
Oh no, we do.
So.
No, it's fair. I like the flashback in and of itself. I agree the reason for going to it was a bit convoluted.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel.
But yeah, no, I like this more than the arc that we just had with in the lab with the Scarecrow stuff. I like this more than that.
Yeah, it's kind of on par for me.
I thought the Scarecrow
Which
stuff
is to
was.
say, I still like it.
Yeah.
I don't love it.
The Scarecrow stuff was just dragged out a bit too long for me, whereas this I felt it was really tight as a one issue thing.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll agree there, but I still like that Scarecrow stuff. I liked the progression it made with her in Colony Prime. You know, like they kind of teased a coexistence down the line, maybe. And here I like that it gets back to. I feel like we forgot about Julia Pennyworth, right?
Yeah,
it's Julia. Yeah, just had a lapse for a hot second.
No, I will say it's still leading towards her, this path to this future version that we've seen.
Yeah.
With her going, talking about, she needs to reevaluate her redefine her way of justice, and it feels like, okay, is she going to get lethal?
It does actually kind of feel. It feels like everything is kind of complementing Detective Comics because, like you say, the whole idea that she might team up with Colony at some point, like that's kind of feeding into what we've seen in Detective a little bit in the last couple of issues. Future stuff.
I feel if there's going to be any Bat character that goes the way of Punisher, everyone always wants it to be Jason, but I feel out of anybody it should be Kate.
Hey, do you know what? It's actually frustrating to me that Jason Todd is no longer the worst Jason in DC. Like that's just. Can I just say that hurts my soul.
That comment this week we got on Twitter about the new Wonder Twins. Props to you, sir.
Which led to the Jason jokes.
Yes.
So that's Batwoman. That was a pretty solid issue. That is on the Aquaman number 32. Dan Abnett writing, Riccardo Federici on art. This is the next part of this. I mean, it all kind of feels continuous from the previous arc, to be honest. Other than the fact that we've changed artists, but
art's still solid.
It's still solid. Yeah, it's not as good as Cedric, but it's just good.
Cedric had a tease of what he's working on.
He did. Week. That's right.
Via Twitter, and
he just
said
he said he's get big news soon. That's what he said. He's get big news soon.
Can I just ask a quick question about Nightwing? Did I blank on something when we were talking about? Did we talk about how the flashback was a different writer?
Wait, no.
No.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the credits page now.
Shut up.
I thought it was worded.
No wonder it was shit.
Klaus Jansen was the flashback. I've just realised because I was looking to see who did the cover.
There was two artists as well, though, right? I'm not imagining that.
There was two artists.
No, I know there was two artists.
I assume, yeah, it was Campbell and Sinclair were the artists, but Klaus Jansen was the flashback writer here. I've just noticed because it doesn't say writer next to him. It says Sam Humphries writer and then Klaus Jansen flashback, and then on the next row down it says artists.
Well, this makes so much more sense then.
Okay, so now my enthusiasm for Humphries has definitely not been impeded because it wasn't even him writing that bit.
Problem solved.
Jeez. What?
Right, so Aquaman, though.
I was like going, did I skip over a part of that conversation? Have I deleted that from my brain? I don't remember this.
I just saw Humphries as writer, and I just took it on there, and I thought Jansen, they were talking about...
It just say writer next to him, so you assume, okay, it's going into the artist section.
Alright, Alex Sinclair was the artist in the flashback.
That should have been a story by, words by thing there.
Yeah, that was a weird way to write those credits.
It is. And am I reading that wrong? That is saying he's the writer for
the
flashback.
It is, yeah. No, it is. You're right.
Sorry to drag us back. I know we moved on.
Like I say, I don't look at the credits pages for when I'm taking down the names. I just look at the Comixology page. Obviously,
I only happened to look. I wanted to see who did the, and then I was like, wait, what?
That makes a lot of sense. Hey, how many comments in the comments did you think we've gotten so far? Explaining is that it was a different writer.
Too many. Yeah. Too many.
Before they get to this bit and realise we went back and caught
it. No, it's fixed.
Yeah, we got there in the end.
Now it's fixed. Anyway, so Aquaman.
Aquaman.
So Mira's dying, and Dolphin kind of finds her, lights a signal for Aquaman to come over and find her, and you know what? I'm not a big love triangle guy, but I was feeling quite bad for Dolphin when Aquaman was all, "Oh, I love you, my wife," or wife to be Mira, and Dolphin's all quiet. I mean, she's always quiet because she's Dolphin, but you know what I mean.
Anybody else rooting for Dolphin and Arthur? Because I am.
A little bit. And
I don't know if she can leave the ocean. Like, I don't know if she's like him and Mira in that way.
I'm going to guess she can, but I mean, I'm not sure.
I have to say I'm not rooting for that. Like, I think the stuff between Arthur and Mira in this book has actually been pretty solid. Their relationship.
Yeah, it has been.
But if she becomes queen and he can't be her king, right? Like, that's got to be one of the conditions.
Well, that's one of the big one of the big conversations in this book, is he finds out the Widowhood want her to be queen, and when they actually talk about it in the little air bubble, she's like, I think I have to do it so that Atlantis can survive. But does that mean we're ending? He's like, well, no, not really, but it feels like at least for a time.
See, I was reading it a bit differently here than I think you guys have. I think the way because then obviously they'd plan to, we're going to go live on the surface. We're going to live in the lighthouse, and we're going to get married, and do just be normal in that sense. I think the way I was doing is here is that it was like more okay. So we can't do that anymore because duty comes first. They can still be together in the capacity they have been, but they have to do the royal duties first and not their own life first, like they had planned.
See, I don't know. I read that as Mira's queen. They have no room for Arthur because he's too much of the... He cares too much about the surface. I mean... You think that's going to change if he's on the opposite side of the throne?
I'm not going to necessarily debate between those 2 points. The reason why I'm saying I see it being like a wedge that Dolphin might capitalise on is because the way it actually cuts to Dolphin overhearing this. She's listening up against the door when this conversation is going on. So I directly read this as, no, this is going to kind of separate him and Mira, which will lead to a possibility of some Dolphin, forgive the word, but action going on.
Dolphin action. Don't Google that, people. Don't Google that.
Don't Google it, no.
Please don't.
But, I felt like it was very intentional there. It's like they're hinting that Dolphin has feelings for Arthur at the same time that we might be driving something that puts him apart a little bit because she has to take this responsibility on.
And that's his origin, though, too. Like, remember, they wanted... That's where Orin comes from. Orin? Yeah. Orm. There we go. He's Orin, right?
He's Orin, yeah.
He's Orin, yeah.
And his brother's Orum.
Do you know how hard it is to not say orange when you go to say Orin?
Yeah, right?
Like, Orin.
The queen took off, and that's how she ended up with his dad, with Tom Curry, right? So, I mean, that's the Atlantean culture, is duty before everything else. And I think Mara's more akin to that than Arthur ever will be.
There is, but I think the fact that she's the ruler, he wouldn't be king necessarily. I mean,
he's prince.
Right? Yeah, he would be a prince, right. and maybe regent at best.
Right.
So he could still go and do all the surface stuff. The responsibilities aren't on him in the same way that they are when he's king. So it should.
I kind of want him and Dolphin together. I'm not going to lie. All my decision comes to that because I've really grown to like her.
People are awful.
I've grown to like Dolphin as well, I have to admit. And as much as I do crack my ginger jokes, I wouldn't necessarily assume I typically go for the blondes over the redheads, but Dolphin's kind of sweet. She's got this sweetness to her that's just really endearing. And I like Mira, don't get me wrong, but...
Yeah, Mira's cool. Like, I love the fact that she breached the Crown of Thorns to get to Arthur, and putting her life at risk.
Which puts them on this countdown. She's got like 10 hours to live, so Aquaman has to take down the crown and storm the castle, as it were.
And also, I don't think I was reading when you guys talked about the Beastmaster. He's the keeper of all the beasts of Atlantis. I love the way they write his dialogue because he's just,
it's so pompous.
Well, it's not the pompous.
It's like a false pomp.
Well, not just that. It's the O's and the Hay's and the,
false pomp.
I don't want to say rural. I'm trying to on the right. But yeah, I just love the way that he is and he cares about his beasts and we can't do that. And then it ends with the beast crashing the throne room.
That's a hell of a final page.
That's a great final page. Obviously, he goes to King Shark for help, who refuses. I feel like he might change his mind, though, and be a bit of cavalry next issue. It feels like
I also like that Wrath is the people of Atlantis, even his own in his inner circle. Like, man, he's gone too hard on this magic stuff. Like, yeah, he claims he's from the people, but is he really? Again, tying it to some real world,
political climate, there. Some commentary,
and he's really doubled down on these old ways that probably aren't for the best. They got us into trouble before. And so,
political analogies right now, it's just too easy, aren't they?
They are, but I feel like this is the way that we have to exercise these demons. And, we thought that Percy was being heavy-handed. It just turns out, like, no, he wasn't going close enough to reality.
He was slightly ahead of the curve, if anything.
Yeah, exactly. So... I don't know, but I like that they brought that thread in, that even his own people are in his inner circle are just like, hey, I don't think he's up to the task.
Volko's going to write a book called Water and Fury, a bit about his first year in office.
Yeah.
Oh, if only.
I was going to say, who is the Steve Bannon of Atlantis, but let's not go down that.
Let's not go down that path.
Let's bury that in the trench with the trench creatures. Oh, maybe he's a trench creature.
Dear.
Okay.
Wait, Volko or Bannon?
Bannon. Not Volko.
So Aquaman was continuation, more of the same but good. Continued everything forward. So digging it a lot. So just to round out then, Cora did read Trinity number 17, new run by James Robinson. So go on. Patrick Zircher on art as well, for the record. So go on.
It's pretty solid, actually.
Oh.
It's all framed in they're being in the three of them are being interviewed separately, but it's intercut in between them. The narration boxes is just one part of the story and then sentence each sort of thing and going through it like that. And basically, what happened is Superman and Batman are trying to help Wonder Woman find the mascara, because obviously it was lost to her. They're like, okay, well, we'll see, where there have been disappearances, where are likely places for portals, for other dimensions. We'll see what we can do and see if we can kind of stumble onto it that way. And they get, caught up in a storm, and they get a bit wrapped up because it turns out there's, some magic going on this storm where this portal is. And they try and save this boat, and in doing so, they actually get sucked through the portal without meaning to. And they're lost on this planet, this jungle world. It kind of weakens them all in some way. Superman loses powers entirely. Wonder Woman's blind. So they're trudging through, and they're all kind of covering for each other's weaknesses in that sense. Some nice narration that Matt will be a fan of. In the fighting, Superman's still handling himself, and I think it was Batman who he says, Superman did a great job of reminding me that even without his powers, he still deserves the name. And then it cuts to Superman just going, "Yeah, I did what I could."
Yes.
Open your wallet, Matt. Open your wallet right now.
I can't bring out my wallet because there's the Superman S on it, and we can't show it. So, but yes,
but
I have a Superman wallet that. Yeah.
So we get to the end. They're fighting through this horde of reptilian people.
Okay.
And they finally get through it all. And they talk about how it wasn't actually that they were that skilled fighters. It was more a test of endurance. But they managed. They got through them all. And Wonder Woman starts somehow, she's been doing research into all these places because she's trying to find Themyscira. Mm-hmm. And she thinks she knows where they are. And they're on Skitaris. And Warlord shows up. So that's the end of the issue.
Of course.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Man, last time I was on Skitaris, it was Convergence, and I don't want to remember that.
I don't remember that because I didn't read that part.
There you go, because you're smart.
Yeah.
Mail.
Hey guys, I have a whole Convergence. If anybody wants to buy it, all you have to do is pay for shipping. I will send it to you. You can have it. Actually, let me check to see if I didn't just offload it. I dropped a whole bunch of comics off at my shop, and it might have been in there, and I might have just tricked him.
Also, Matt, there was that day you ran out of toilet paper. You might have used it that day.
That's true. I did remove the staples. I remember that. Yeah. Anyways,
but no, it's actually a pretty solid issue. I'd recommend it.
Cool. Who wrote it again? Who's the new?
James Robinson.
It's James Robinson. Yeah,
so that makes sense. Then.
But obviously, there's no Jason, so it's not atrocious.
I tend to like Robinson more than I haven't liked. Like his, I really enjoyed his Earth 2 when he was writing it.
Yeah, I like that as well. Yeah. Actually, do you know what? I'll forgive the current Wonder Woman situation, right, in her book. If you know how at the end of the issues you always get next time, whatever. Yeah. If one of those issues soon ends with next time X to Jason, all is forgiven. Best run ever. All is forgiven.
Yeah, that would be pretty fantastic.
But hey, I mean, maybe like, I'll see how I feel next month if I want to read that issue in the next one or whatever. Maybe if I drop Damage after issue 2, then I'll decide to go back and catch up.
I think that's probably one of the reasons that unless I find myself with time that week next month, I probably won't read Damage because I'd rather read the next issue of Trinity, which surprises even me.
It's like, I was kind of happy when I could just sort of drop Trinity before though, mainly because we get so much Superman, Batman, not as much Wonder Woman, but certainly Superman and Batman. We get so much of them between their books, the Justice League. That's like, yeah, I'm kind of okay with the Trinity book kind of sucking. Like it's fine. Like I can happily ignore it.
No, I get that.
But I mean, if it's good, it's good.
But hey, good books are good books, aren't they?
Yeah. We'll see. I'm not super sold, but
I'm not saying it's like, oh, this is must read. I'm just saying, as a first issue, it was pretty solid. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
fine.
The character narrations are down for sure.
All right. Okay, that's cool. Reminds me actually, just before we get to the best ofs, I haven't caught up yet, but I read the next issue I had of Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, which was the start of that thing where it was all the men get sick, so it becomes this giant team of like the Birds of Prey, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and then Wonder Woman shows up, all the Orphan and Spoiler and Batwoman all show up. That was the big cliffhanger at the end of that issue. I'm looking forward to reading the rest of it. I just thought I'd mention I read it because it was fun.
Cool.
Yeah, good. It's a nice idea. I'll get back to that at some point. Hey, I guess that's all the books this week then, so we can get on to the best ofs, the picks, the favourites.
Real quick, just a footnote that you were talking about the similarities between Action Comics and Batman 39.
Oh yeah.
I did some digging. It's Action Comics 761.
There you go.
So if anybody wants to go, nearly 20 years old at this point, which. Oh man, I hate thinking about time.
Yes, you were graduating college 20 years ago, man?
No, I didn't graduate college.
Sorry, that's right around the time he dropped out.
That was a good punchline. I'll give you that. That was
You're
good.
welcome.
Okay, so picking favourites side of the week. So we do our best panel / moment, do best cover, best art, top 5 books of the week. This will be an interesting week actually for this because some books that we normally love, we didn't love that much this week, and some books that have been kind of rough have been better this week. Interesting. So Starting off with best panel / moment, which I have not thought about at all. Matt, you can go first.
Yeah, so I originally wasn't going to do it, but it's too on brand for me not to do it. But it's from Super Sons. It's that full page. It's got all the characters on it. But front and center are my last three. Bart, Cassie, Connor. Yeah, just a great image for me.
Okay, Connor?
I'm just having a skim. I was trying to find something from Superman, but I can't find an individual moment. So I think I'm just going to go with the final page of Aquaman. That's just such a cool
Pretty
moment.
good. That was a runner-up for me.
And the art on it was really solid.
Yeah, I was tempted to go with the Friends stuff at the end of Super Sons. I like that moment. But honestly, I think I'm actually going to go with Green Lanterns and the Right Back At You from Jess to the more like guy.
My other choice, I suppose, is just Giant Kurt Cobain.
Oh, there you go.
That was
That's
the
obvious one.
obvious.
Nah, it's just because she's so normally not that confident. The idea that she's pretending to be so confident to this Molite King, like, you know, just, you know, I dig it. Anyway, so that's a moment / panel. Best cover of the week, which I should probably look at these for this.
Yeah, this is actually kind of tough this week. There's a few that I really like.
Yeah, Connor, you can go first.
You're a dick. I'll be honest. It's down to Nightwing or Batman. I think those are the two standouts for me. I think I'll give it to. Yeah, I'll give it to Batman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Janet does a nice cover.
I actually think I'm going to go with Aquaman. I think. Arthur and King Shark looks really nice. I'm digging it. The variant, like cover, the variant's also really nice for the record of Mira.
Oh, the Mira one, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe either of you didn't pick Batwoman, because that's mine.
Batwoman's good, and Superman's quite good as well. There's a lot of good covers this week.
I would have pegged Pete, being the horror guy here, to go for Batwoman.
Don't get me wrong, I was tempted. I was looking. It was between Aquaman and Batwoman. That was the two I was looking at.
Gotcha.
No, that's fair. I prefer Batwoman's variant, you know, with all the red and black and white.
See, I prefer the Batman variant with Wonder Woman standing there.
That's also excellent.
That's really good. So, I mean, don't think that there's wrong with the Jansen, but
I actually think there's a lot of really solid covers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hell, I mean, I know we weren't super enthused about it, but Damage has a pretty good cover. Like, it's just, you know.
No, that's fair. Tony Daniel does do nice covers.
I feel like because it's Tony Daniel and how key he was to the New 52, that just screams New 52 to me.
Fair.
I'd rather not think of it.
All right, so best art, best art of the week, which I guess I'll go first since I've made you two go first already. This is not as clear cut as normal.
I mean, we can rule out Nightwing.
Yeah, we can rule out Nightwing. Be quite.
You just stole my joke where I was going to say Nightwing.
Nightwing pages.
Oh no, actually no. It is 19
easy. And 20.
We were so murky on other elements. I just forgot that Joelle Jones did Batman. The art, I can't fault the art. Batman.
I was wondering why.
Yeah, I just forgot that was a thing. Yeah, Batman. Easily Batman.
That was really easy for me. Is Batman.
It is easy. I just forgot that was a thing.
Matt's yawning, but I'm assuming it's Batman as well.
No, it's not. It's Super Sons. I wasn't big into a lot of the art and for Jones. I like her, but I feel like this one just felt off. I don't know. Maybe it was the inks or the colors. There's some really good stuff in there, but just didn't.
You know, taste be a thing.
Yeah.
As Connor constantly proves, sometimes it can be contrary.
How do you take your steak?
Piss off, man. I know where this is going. Piss off.
He takes it the wrong way, is the answer.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, anytime you start going off about Connor's taste, and I don't agree with you, I'm gonna.
Connor doesn't like Back to the Future.
No. Stop saying that.
Okay.
I don't love Back to the Future.
He thinks it's fine. He's not even watched the sequels because he doesn't really want to.
I think it's pretty good. I just don't love it.
Why have you not watched 2 or 3 yet then?
I'll discuss it with both of you.
I'll get to it eventually.
See,
now.
disgust.
It's the greatest
on the
trilogy
shelf.
that's
It's
ever
there.
been made.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Carl, you're going first since you're being. Actually, no. Matt asked me about mistakes, so you can go first. Matt, top 5.
So my top 5. Number 1, Green Lanterns. I really enjoyed this issue. For all its faults.
That's surprising.
With Lizeth Vok, like whatever. Number 2 is Super Sons. Pretty well rounded with the art and the story. 3 is Justice League. 4 is Batwoman, and 5 is Superman. Just narrowly edging out Batman.
I am shocked Superman's not number 1. I would have put money on you picking Superman this week.
Wait, I did. Number 1?
When he got to 4, I was like, he's forgotten Superman.
He's forgotten it. Yeah, I was like, surely it's number 3. No, that's number 4. Oh, surely, he's forgotten it. He's forgotten it now. No, number 5.
Yeah, I was like, it's not going to be 5. He's just forgotten, and then we're going to go, what about Superman? He's going to go,
it was good.
Ah.
I don't know. I just trying to say this in the best way without sounding like an evil monster, but it's pretty easy to praise a book wherein superheroes take care of cancer kids. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, yeah.
I don't want to say it's low hanging fruit because it's not. It's impossible not to like it, and it's a very good book, and it made me dusty. But it's, the art style, as we said, it's very simple.
I honestly thought you were going to relish in a week where Batman had a weaker issue and Superman had a good issue because it's been a while.
I just said it missed 5, just barely.
But Batman was one it was competing with, though, and I think that's fascinating. That's interesting.
Yeah, like, to me, they're nowhere near each other.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, that said, Connor, what's your top 5?
So, at number 1 is actually Superman. I think it's the best thing I read this week. 2 is probably Super Sons. 3 is Justice League. 4 is Aquaman, and then I think 5 I'll go with Trinity. I enjoyed that.
Okay. I am going with Justice League at number 1. Yeah, I know, everything's very different this week. It's very, very. That's just what happens when the standout books aren't standing out as much as usual. But no, I'll go Justice League at number 1. I will say Super Sons at number 2. Superman at number 3. Green Lanterns at number 4. Batwoman at number 5.
Yeah, wow.
Is that's gonna be the first time in a long time that none of us have Batman in the top 5.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't expect that'll last long. Maybe another issue, and then we'll be.
I mean, next time it'll be on a week 1, which is a bit quieter. So.
Not as much anymore.
Are they not?
Nah, week 1's a bit on par with week 2 now at this point. Because we dropped a few things from week 2, and week 1 had a few things added on. I think we'll be fine. But yeah, so there you go. That's our picks this week. So very, very mixed week in terms of what we liked. But that leaves me to tell you what's coming next week, and of course. First thing, what's not coming next week is Connor, because he's he's off for next weekend through the girlfriend planning a trip without his input.
I got dragged into things.
Yeah, which means for the second month in a row he is missing the Doomsday Clock talk.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not too happy about that. I'm going to make up for it with issue 4. Before it goes on its break.
I know, you're going to give it back for one issue and then it's on a break for a month. Also, I didn't do it on purpose, but I really like how Doomsday Clock Talk sounded. So, I'm making that a thing. Alright, so Doomsday Clock number 3 is out next week, of course, and then you've got Action Comics 966, Detective Comics 973, Wonder Woman 39, The Flash 39, Batgirl number 19, Teen Titans 16, we have the finale of Nightwing the New Order, issue 6 of that. That wraps up all the obvious books we'll be covering. Also out next week, but we will not be covering, are Batman Beyond 16, Blue Beetle 17, The Demon Hell is Earth number 3, Hal Jordan, The Green Lantern Corps number 37, The Hellblazer number 18, Justice League of America number 23, and Suicide Squad number 34. Man, there's a lot of books we don't cover on week 4. But that's just the way the chips fall sometimes.
Really excited for that Teen Titans issue because it's all Starfire. So Pete's
nice
staring at it like, what's this?
I'm actually kind of looking forward to the Hal Jordan stuff because that's the start of the new arc with Zod. I'm intrigued to see what it does.
Matt's pulling out his wallet.
Yeah.
But
all kidding aside about the Teen Titans, I am because Marv Wolfman is writing Starfire. So and it deals with Starfire, Raven, and Beast Boy. and how they interact with this younger
Yeah.
group.
Oh, okay. It's a one-shot
Yeah.
by Wolfman.
Yeah.
I might jump back on and read that one issue.
So
Not that I'll be able to talk about it, but I'll read it.
Yeah.
no, I saw a preview. I was really waiting to be seated for breakfast this morning. I was going through Reddit, and someone posted a preview of it. So I looked at it, and it seems really good. So
Yeah,
I'm excited for
and
that.
jokes aside, I actually do really like Starfire, so I'm glad she's getting
she's
a story
she's very cute.
dedicated to herself. So, no, it's cool. So, that's what's coming next week, and that wraps up episode 87 of Comics from the Multiverse. So the countdown to episode 100 begins right now. So you can check out that all the next week's stuff next week, of course. Worth mentioning, the DC TV shows were back this week. So when we've had television from the Multiverse still running, but we've been doing some old shows like Smallville and Lois and Clark and Young Justice.
Young Justice, full of Wally getting souvenirs.
Yes. And we've been ripping Smallville apart to shreds. It's been fun, but the shows are back this week. So obviously Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, and of course we actually already did the first episode of Black Lightning. We did that as a standalone thing. It'll be in the podcast as well, but you can actually find a review of Black Lightning episode 1 on its own on the YouTube channel if you so wish.
Short version, pretty good. You should check it out.
It was pretty good actually. Yeah, I concur.
What I've been hearing.
I concur with that sentiment. Some good stuff. So so check out that. And barring that, the monthly episode went up this week. Me and Connor.
We did do that, didn't we?
Yeah, we looked at.
That feels like it forever ago.
Yeah, for the patrons, of course, they get the monthly bonus episode. We did Batman Earth 1 Volume 1, and we had a pretty good long conversation about that. That was pretty in depth.
Birthday Boy, one of my favorite Bat villains that probably will only be seen once.
I know he's great. I hope he shows up in continuity because he's actually really cool.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot. But. Yeah, so that was cool, and anything else I want to plug or... Yeah, obviously the usual stuff. Twitter, at DC Comics Podcast is always worth mentioning. You can get me at Wibble89, Connor, at ConnorRyan94, at Matt of Steel57. Look at me remembering all these things.
Good job.
I mean, also, if you did enjoy us talking about the DC movie stuff, we have got the full movie news coming tomorrow.
That is true, yeah. That'll be up early Sunday, usually that goes up. It's only episode 2 tomorrow, so I mean the precedent's kind of only just been set, but that is the planned time it will begin up. So you can check out that, and there'll be a lot of non-DC news as well for other movies and Marvel movies if they've got news and everything else. So you can check out that, and there you go. So I think that's us. So that is episode 87, so be excited for your Action Comics 1000, episode 100 of this, and everything else in between, and what's coming up in the next few months. Doomsday Clock, mainly, next week.
God damn it.
I love it. So, with all that said, of course, get us on Patreon at patreon.com/MailedFuzzTV if you want to support the show or the channel. You get some bonuses like the monthly episode, the occasional voting rights. In fact, I think we were a little bit confused at the end of the monthly as to what the next months would be. It'll probably be a vote, actually, because they were kind of due one for January, and then we took away the 5th week thing. So it'll probably end up being a vote, I imagine.
Okay, cool.
Connor's staring at me.
I think I've got a little bit of a slight delay on my audio here.
Oh,
well.
fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's news to me as well. I just thought of it, that it should probably be a vote. So patrons could probably get a vote for the next monthly. But that's us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. We love you loads. Keep reading DC Comics, and always remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.